34 defense. You see 57 on the blitz. Bullard tried to get him from behind, but McClanahan was already in the backfield. And it's a loss of 2 yards on the play. I'm sure that Mr. Zorn and company will go right back to throwing the football. That's what they do best.
McClanahan was an original draft choice of the Raiders, went to Buffalo, did not have much success there, and has come back to Oakland. 4 down linemen. 2nd and 13 for Zorn. Willie Jones trying to run him down. And he throws it downfield, and a great catch coming back for the ball was Largent. And he made the catch in front of Monty Jackson. And so Largent came back to the football and has given Seattle another first down.
Already what we spoke of, Sam, Jim Zorn able to get outside that defensive end to expand the passing pocket for the quarterback. Largent goes down about 15 yards, comes back about 3, and Zorn puts it right on the money. That is almost impossible to defense.
Lineman in passing situations, the 2nd and 13 was an obvious pass situation for Zorn. Willie Jones, number 90, chased him across the field, but not in time. They spot the ball at the Oakland 39. Play action for Zorn again. He's trying to sprint outside the pressure and throws it downfield. It's incomplete, and he threw it just before he ran out of bounds. And the Oakland coaching staff claiming there was no receiver in the neighborhood. John Matuzak ran him out, along with the Stork Ted Hendricks.
Well, they were claiming correctly, Sam. There was nobody within 20 yards of that pass. That's Tom Flores, the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And there's Jack Patera, head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Both of these teams have had some real fistfights, but the last 4 times that they faced each other, Seattle has come out on top.
4 down linemen again for the Oakland Raiders. 5, 6 defensive backs, only 1 linebacker. They will use an assortment of plays. They specialize football probably more so than any team in the NFL on 2nd and 10. And so the sprint draw, Dornick. Inside the 35, puts his head down and reaches the 30-yard line and comes very close to a Seattle first down. He's about a yard shy. Monty Jackson is the man who made the stop. Dornick picks up 9 yards on the carry. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
And it's so very, very difficult for a defense to handle Seattle. They're one of the few teams in professional football that sets up their running game with their passing game. They go with a pass front and then run a sprint draw off of it. And it just drives defensive coordinators crazy. And now they got 3rd down and about a yard. They're right back in the situation they want here.
You ask anybody here in Oakland, they'll tell you that man in your picture, number 10, has been the difference in Seattle's last 4 wins over the Raiders. He just drives them crazy. Dornick did not get the first down. In fact, he fumbled the ball. There to make the recovery was Jodat. Ted Hendricks got in his way and messed up the play completely. And it'll be 4th down, and they bring Efren Herrera on the field. Here it is again.
You can see that Dornick is limping just slightly, but this is a great play by Hendricks. Good penetration. Also 36 for Mike Davis for the Oakland Raiders in there from the strong safety spot to support. It's going to be 4th down. And even though Efren Herrera is on the field, that's no guarantee that he's going to kick it.
He's done a few different things, hasn't he? He's 11 out of 14 if he kicks the ball in field goal attempts. He's 7 out of 7 inside the 40, but this will be a 48-yard attempt out of a Zorn hold. There's the placement by Zorn. The kick is up.
Good.
And it is way short. So Efren Herrera has missed a 48-yard field goal attempt. The Raider defense has stiffened, and the offense will go to work for the first time this afternoon. A magnificent afternoon for football. You couldn't ask for a better day or a better matchup. We'll be back in just a moment.
Is the pump picking your pocket?
The King Cars are here!
And Bob Trumpy back in Oakland. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think we could have probably 50 points scored here, at least if past history is any indication.
And they may throw it 50 or 60 times, too. Both of these teams really are very well groomed to throw the football.
So Oakland stiffens. Herrera misses the field goal, and we go back to work. The Raiders have the ball at their own 30-yard line. 1st down and 10. Jim Plunkett is a quarterback with Van Egan and Kenny King, and Van Egan gets the call. 4 quick yards. The stop made by the middle linebacker, Terry Beeson. Now, we talked about Oakland, and you saw very graphically how in given situations they will change their front. They will bring new people in. Seattle doesn't do it quite as much. Here's the offensive backfield. Plunkett, as I mentioned, King and Van Egan. The wide receivers, you can't say enough about them. Cliff Branch, Bob Chandler has returned after missing most of 79 in Buffalo. Raymond Chester getting a chance to play with Casper gone. So a gain of, they give him 5. Let's make it 2nd down and 5. Texas A&M. Their #1 draft choice. Just a marvelous play by Green.
And if there's one thing when you talk about the Seattle Seahawks on defense, it's Jacob Green. They have suffered without a defense for a number of years, and Jack Patera just can't say enough about this young man. He said nobody has dominated Jacob Green yet this year, and each week he gets better and better.
3rd down and 7. They split their wide receivers left and right. Chandler just at the top of your picture, number 85. No score, first quarter, 9:45 to play, and Plunkett's first pass of the afternoon. Has time, over the middle. Underneath the King, and a great saving tackle by number 55, the linebacker Michael Jackson out of Washington, a native up there. He played his college ball at the University of Washington. And so Oakland will have to kick it right back to the Seattle Seahawks. The completed pass, but Jackson, who had the coverage, made the stop 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down. And Will Lewis goes back in single safety, awaiting the punt from the National Football League's premier punter in recent years, Ray Guy, although he had to settle for a tie with Bob Rupp last year of Kansas City.
He is the best offensive weapon in the NFL, though. Every time he touches the ball, he averages 43.3 yards, and that's not bad.
And he gets this one away, a high, short punt. Very short. Lewis, a fair catch at the 34-yard line. He falls down. He was not knocked down. And so Seattle will get fairly good field position at their own 34-yard line. And Guy not pleased with a 32-yard punt, far below his average of 43.3. So Seattle has it for the second time today. We'll be back in a moment.
On NBC.
Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Oakland. That statistic reveals a great deal about Seattle's dominance in recent years over Oakland. They've only lost to them once.
There's only 2 teams in professional football who have a better record against the Oakland Raiders. Seattle is one, and the New England Patriots are the other.
So from the 34-yard line, the I formation with Jodat and Dornink in the backfield. And the give. Play action. Zorn rolling, waving his receiver downfield. And he throws it along the sideline, and he overthrew Largent. And Largent just couldn't get downfield enough for Zorn, who rolled left after excellent play action. So it's 2nd down and 10. Look at Zorn. I told you to come in. I told you to go out.
Well, what coaches instruct their receivers to do is the man on the sideline to the side of the field where the quarterback is coming normally goes up the field to clear the way for the guys coming across the field, so the quarterback has someone to throw it to. In that particular case, Largent was the only one over there, and he was vacillating going up the field and back the field. Incomplete pass.
John Sawyer comes out, and Seattle goes with 3 wide receivers, McCullum, Largent, and Steve Rabel. But they give instead. Dornick gets a couple of yards to about the 36 and stopped there by Reggie Kinlaw. Kinlaw just had an outstanding game, and he didn't play but a quarter against Pittsburgh last week. I think he was responsible for at least 3 holding calls against Pittsburgh's all-pro center Mike Webster. He's been troubled by a foot injury, number 62 Reggie Kinlaw, but he is a player.
And the advantage that he has, Sam, is that in college he played the nose man for the Oklahoma Sooners, so it's a position that he's very, very familiar with, and great strength, great upper body strength.
6 defensive backs again being employed by Oakland. Dwayne Osteen, number 35, comes into the secondary, and 3 wide receivers. This time it's Jesse Green with Largent and McCullum on 3rd down and about 8. Zorn throws it up for McCullum. He's got him out there. Oh, and it was just deflected away by Lester Hayes, number 37. The best defensive back that Oakland has. He's had 11 interceptions the last season and a half, and McCullum had him beaten, but a great recovery by Hayes.
And that's very characteristic of Seattle now with the double coverage. With the double coverage that Largent is getting, McCullum has come up to be their number 1 receiver so far this season. And you're right, Lester Hayes, a saving defensive play.
Ira Matthews in deep receiving spot here for Herman Weaver. Matthews had an outstanding rookie season. He has not done quite so well this year. Averaging nearly 5 yards of punt return, elects to let this one bounce, and it'll roll dead at about the 32 or 33-yard line of Oakland. So the Raiders' second offensive possession of the day, just a 32-yard punt by Thunderfoot Herman Weaver. So Guy and Weaver have some improving to do. We'll return to Oakland Coliseum in just a minute. Well, despite the fact there's a threat this team may move down the Pacific coast to Los Angeles, the fans are out in great numbers today. That's a veteran offensive line, Bob. Shell and Upshaw, but they don't necessarily run left anymore without Staples.
No, they don't. And I think that's the presence of Kenny King. Now they have a complete running offense, not just oriented around the fullback.
From the 32-yard line, 1st down for the Raiders. King again. They're trying to cut it back, and a good defensive play by number 58, Terry Beeson, the middle linebacker. And so King may have gained a few yards, a few inches rather, as you look at the defensive line that veteran Oakland offensive line has to face today. And by contrast, this is one that is built with youth. Hardy and Tuiasosopo played every game as rookies last year for Seattle. Jacob Green is in his first year. The only veteran is Gregory in his 10th year out of Wisconsin. Now on second and long, Joe Norman comes in replacing Terry Beeson. That's a usual change for Seattle. Norman a little better on the pass cover. Plunkett is a quarterback and goes back to throw his second pass of the day. Has a man wide open. Chandler midfield to the 47 of the Seattle Seahawks and brought down there by Michael Jackson. But a first down for the Raiders. 20 yards on the completed pass.
He beat Kerry Justin on the pattern, and Kerry Justin in his defense fell down just as the ball was about to be delivered to Bob Chandler. Chandler, of course, had major shoulder reconstruction 2 years ago. You can see Justin just getting up off the ground. Yes. And a saving tackle by Jackson, who was the Seahawks' leading tackler in 1980.
I like your wording. Major reconstruction sounds like a building project.
Well, that's just about what they had to do to him.
Oakland's had a few of those out here in recent years. First down, first time the Raiders have been in Seattle territory with 6.5 minutes to play first quarter. Raymond Chester, the big tight end, to the 40-yard line. So he picks up 7 on the completed pass from Plunkett. And the tackle made by Michael Jackson again. It would appear that Plunkett is working on Jackson and Kerry Justin on the other side as you look at the linebackers of Seattle.
It's interesting, Sam, as you look at the defensive backs of Seattle. I talked to Al Davis before the game, and he said we like Jim Plunkett mainly because he throws the ball down the field. That's the only reason we didn't like Ken Stabler, that he threw it out to the side too often. At least Plunkett will throw it up and allow the receivers to try to make the great catch.
This is a fun play for a quarterback. Second down and 3. You can do almost anything. From the pro set, Van Egan 30 and Kenny King 33, the setback. And the give is to Van Egan. He stumbles forward to the 35 and another Oakland first down. Stopped by Vic Miner, who really fell on top of him. Van Egan tripped up with the line of scrimmage, just stumbled his way to the 35, and the Raiders with the first good scoring opportunity of the day for them.
Van Egan has led the Oakland Raiders in rushing the last 4 years, but now with Kenny King, it's kind of a change-up for the Oakland Raider offense. They have a very fleet halfback in the backfield, and they can expect him to break a big gainer, but Van Egan for 3 or 4 yards, I don't know if there's anybody better in the business.
It hardly seems possible. In the few years he's played, Mark Van Egan is the all-time leading rusher of the Oakland Raiders. Here's Plunkett, a quick out to Cliff Branch, trying to work on Dave Brown, and Brown stands him right up at the 30. So the former University of Michigan All-American played Branch as well as you can. 5 yards on the completed pass. It'll be 2nd and 5, but Plunkett's doing just what he wanted to do.
And that'll be a matchup we'll watch all day. Oakland keeps its receivers on the same side of the field. Branch will play the left, and Chandler will play the right. So it'll be Dave Brown on Cliff Branch all day long, and it'll be Kerry Justin on Bob Chandler all day long.
This is the number 5 offense of the American Football Conference. They are 3rd in rushing, 7th in passing, and they're not even going with their number 1 quarterback, Dan Pastorini, which says a lot for what Plunkett's done to the ball club. King with a hole momentarily. It closed very rapidly. Gregory and Beeson on top. And let's see who gets off the bottom. I think that's Robert Hardy. Yep, 75.
Good presence by these young guys from Seattle. Those defensive tackles are trying to take on a trap block here. And Hardy nor Tuiasosopo were fooled, and that's their job. Stay at home. Don't range too far from the middle of that defensive line.
3rd down and 3. Almost all of the earlier games today are final, and very shortly we'll give them all to you. So if you're looking for other scores, stand by. Here it's scoreless. Oakland with a threat on 3rd and 3 at the 28 of Seattle. They get the first down. Van Egan to the 22-yard line. Stopped by the middle linebacker, Terry Beeson, and they just power that one ahead behind Upshaw, Dalby, and Marvin.
And for how many years have we watched Dalby, Upshaw, and Shell open up a hole for Mark Van Egan, and before that, Hewitt Dixon? One of the best offensive lines there is in the business. Upshaw has played 14 years. Art Shell 13 years. They know each other and know each other very well, and they do know how to block them. And now we've got an injury on the field.
And it looks like an Oakland Raider is down as soon as we can identify him. We'll check on that, and we'll report back to you in just a moment. The Raiders are on the move. We'll return to the Coliseum in Oakland after this. The injured player is Kenny King, and he walked off under his own power. Arthur Whittington is on the field, but if King can't come back, that's got to hurt Oakland, Bob.
That's 5.5 yards of carry out of their offensive backfield, and it appeared that it was his ankle walking rather gingerly to the sideline.
So little Arthur Whittington at 5'11", 180, third year out of SMU. Where's number 22 on a 1st and 10 at the Seattle 21. Oakland with a bona fide threat as Van Egan picks up 2. And he runs into number 75, Robert Hardy. Well, how about that one? Our first final of the day, Cleveland has upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-26. Would you believe the Steelers have lost 3 straight? Buffalo and a shocker over New England, 31-13. These are all final. We'll get the rest of them in a moment. From the 19-yard line. Plunkett. Second down, throws it as a man wide open. Chester stepped out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. But that'll be first down and goal to go for the Oakland Raiders. 9 yards on the completed pass to Raymond Chester. Dave Brown had the coverage, but too late. Here's another final. Denver keeps the New York Giants on the bad kind of streak, 14-9. Atlanta got a touchdown in the last minute 15 to beat Los Angeles 13-10. Green Bay pulled away from Minnesota late in the ball game to beat the Vikes 16-3.
Upset day.
Washington, New Orleans is still winless, 22-14 the final. First down and goal to go in a scoreless game. Van Egan to the 5. Stopped by 53, Keith Butler, the right side linebacker, but a penalty flag is down. And we'll check that for you. Holding against Oakland is the preliminary signal. Cal Lepore is our referee today with Dave Hamilton, Tony Viteri, Gene Carabine, Banks Williams, Grover Clemmer, and Jack Vaughn. It was Williams who got injured on the initial kickoff return. Here's Mr. Lepore.
Holding, 63, offense, first down.
Gene Upshaw. Before the people in Seattle panic, we realize that in 7 games, the Seattle Seahawks have scored 27 points in the first and third quarter, and they have scored 99 points in the second and fourth quarter. They seem to be a very improvisational offense. On the other hand, they've only allowed 13 points in the first quarter in the 7 games that they've played.
I got one for you. I'll give it to you later.
I can't wait.
First down and 19. Derek Jensen in the backfield, but the give is to Whittington for a couple of hard-earned yards as he gets it back to about the 16-yard line, stacked up by Robert Hardy in his second year out of Jackson State. Hardy and Tui Asisopo, as I mentioned, started and played every game last year, and Jack Patera couldn't be more pleased with their progress.
Once again, a good picture of discipline there in a very young man, Robert Hardy, out of Jackson State. There's a terrible tendency in that situation with first down and a long way to go to figure it's going to be a pass and go after the passer. He stayed at home and stopped that draw play.
5 defensive backs by the Seahawks. They add Will Lewis on second down and 16. The ball at the Seattle 17-yard line. And here comes the rush on Plunkett. He delivers a ball to Branch, and he almost made a great catch. He fell on the cinder track as he dived for the football. Keith Simpson had the coverage, the strong safety, but it was overthrown and out of bounds. Wouldn't have been any good even if he had made the miraculous catch.
Pressure by Jacob Green on the backside of Jim Plunkett. There had him hurried a little bit, therefore it was overthrown.
John Harris, we are told, has suffered a rib injury. He's been replaced by Vic Miner. Harris is just an outstanding free safety. He's being taken into the dressing room, and we don't know the degree of the injury, but obviously he'll miss most of his first half. I just hope he can get back to the game.
And Kenny King out for the Oakland Raiders.
Third down, 16 for Plunkett. Looking in the end zone.
Oh, no.
And they knock it loose. And let's see what they rule. Incompleted pass to Chandler. He had the ball. The question is, did he possess it long enough as he crossed the plane of the end zone? And the officials say no.
I think it was the hit by Keith Simpson, the strong safety. Terry Justin had the coverage. Plunkett with plenty of time to throw here. Chandler was the intended receiver. See him looking around back there. It's just a simple square in pattern by Chandler, and then watch the hit. That's Justin on the coverage. Can't really pick up. Was it 21? Vic Miner on the hit, replacing John Harris. Excellent play by Vic Miner, young man out of Northeast Louisiana State, a rookie.
So Chris Barr will attempt a field goal of 34 yards. Barr is 7 of 15 this year, which isn't so good, but he's 0 for 5 over 50 yards. Makes his record look better. Placement, the kick is up, and And the former Penn State All-American and Cincinnati Bengal kicker puts it right through. A 34-yard field goal by Chris Barr, and Oakland has drawn first blood.
All right, they drew first blood, but I do think that's a missed opportunity by Oakland. Seattle is a very high-powered offense, and I don't think you can just go down there and get 3 points and expect it to hold up.
The interesting thing about the Oakland Raiders in recent weeks is that as they get better, Jim Plunkett's confidence builds, and here's a young man who was cut by the San Francisco 49ers after they paid dearly to get him from New England, Bob. And so Plunkett's skills have returned all of a sudden, and his confidence is brimming.
He is now 5 of 7 for 44 yards.
How's this for an upset? Fourth quarter now. St. Louis probably playing in some degree for Steve Little, who suffered that tragic automobile accident, their place kicker, upsetting Baltimore in Baltimore today, 17-3. That's fourth quarter. Will Lewis deep along with Jesse Green, awaiting this kick by Chris Barr. 52 yards on the scoring play by Oakland, 13 plays. They held the ball for over 6 minutes and got the field goal. Jesse Green, 3 yards deep in the end zone, will not run it out. And so Seattle will begin from its own 20-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. Well, a new running back for Seattle as they begin their third possession of the game. Jeff Moore, number 32, replaces Dan Dornick, who apparently is having problems with that injured knee. And Mark Bell at tight end. This is Moore. Over the 30, out of bounds on the far side at the 35-yard line. And let me tell you, for those of you who may not know anything about Jeff Moore, he carried the ball 4 times in the victory over the Jets last Sunday for 40 yards. He caught 1 pass for 34. I happened to be in New York, Bob, and saw the game, and I have never seen a more remarkable bit of running. He must have broken 6 tackles after he caught the pass from Zorn.
Well, he's out of Jackson State. I notice also that Jim Jodat is in there at fullback, number 43. Maybe the 2 in tandem are a good combination for Seattle.
So it's second down and 5. Zorn trying to get those 3 points back and a little more if he can. The Seahawks came into this game as 4.5-point underdogs. Moore, same play. Flag is down, and this time nothing doing. As Dave Browning strung the play out, and you folks back in the state of Washington should be very familiar with Dave Browning. The official indicates offensive holding against Seattle. He starred at the University of Washington, a 3-year man now.
Rather interesting, you know, Oakland has this substitution thing that they do with their defense, and most teams will throw the ball on the first down because in their defensive line, the Oakland Raiders have their best people against the run, and here Seattle is attempting to run the ball here on the early down. Rather surprising.
Well, Calipore only walked off 5 yards initially, then was told that he had made the error, and now will give us the official call.
Holding, 51, offense.
That's John Yarno in his 4th year out of Idaho. The only left-handed center who snaps to a left-handed quarterback. I've used that every time I've done a Seattle game, but I felt I had to get it in today.
Don't ever use it again.
Just like our producer Roy Hammerman likes to say, when Sherman Smith runs the ball, he runs like a tank. But he doesn't have a chance because Sherman Smith is gone for the year. Here's Zorn now on 2nd and 15. Flips it out here, and Jodat with a marvelous catch. Jim Jodat, just a yard shy of the first down, the former L.A. Ram with a great effort.
Great play, great call by Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator of Seattle. And a great touch on this pass. You see Zorn almost slip and fall down. Pressure from Hardman and also Willie Jones. Look at that catch. Feet off the ground. He catches the last 2 inches of the football. Mike Davis on the coverage. And it's still 3rd down and 1 yard to go.
So a gain of 14 on the completed pass. They'll use 3 tight ends here as Essig comes into the lineup. And the give this time is to Moore.
Hendricks.
And again, the Mad Stark has risen to the occasion here for Oakland. And the coaching staff along the sidelines of Seattle not very pleased with that. They fail to get the first down.
Ted Hendricks, number 83 of the Oakland Raiders, formerly the Baltimore Colts, I can personally tell you is the most difficult man in professional football to block. He is 6'7", he weighs no more than 225, but because of the strength in his arm, and the length of his arms, you can't lay a glove on him. He takes you on with his hands and puts you to the ground, and he's there to make the tackle.
Well, he and Jack Ham of Pittsburgh on the all-decade team of the 70s. Can't pay a higher tribute, I don't believe. And the gun sounds before Weaver has a chance to punt the ball to Ira Matthews. And so we have a surprise, I would think, here through our first 15 minutes of play. We expected a high-scoring affair. It's only 3-0 Oakland at the end of one quarter. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Oakland. There's a man who has a twisted ankle, but they expect him to return. Kenny King, the halfback for the Oakland Raiders. And on fourth down, Herman Weaver will be punting to Ira Matthews. As you look at the gentleman who is growing a beard, that's Dan Pastorini, who is not expected back today. He'll be out for a number of weeks and maybe the rest of the year.
Flag immediately on the play there, Sam.
Yep, flag is down. Matthews driven back to his 21-yard line. Avoids the first man downfield. 25, 30, 35, watch out. 40, 45, and Weaver has to knock him down in midfield. But as I indicated, a flag is down back at the Seattle 15-yard line. A 51-yard punt by Weaver, and he apparently outkicked his coverage because Matthews brought it back 29 yards. And they're talking with Steve Rabel, who I believe is the special teams captain for the Seattle Seahawks. That's got to be good news for them.
Illegal formation, offense, penalties decline.
That is not what you call good news for them, is it?
First quarter stats in. Oakland had 4 first downs. As you watch the run back, you're going to see a block here on the sideline put on by number 37 of the Oakland Raiders, Lester Hayes. You're going to see it on number 70. I mean, it's a cruncher coming up right here. Watch number 70 in your picture. There's Lester Hayes, and it's a right cross. And he did get up, though. Number 70 did get up.
First man downfield was Vic Minor, number 21, and he just simply outran the play, and Matthews turned it back up. They spot the ball at the 46, saying that Matthews stepped out of bounds there. So take 4 yards off the return. Here's Plunkett with play action. Throws it out in the flat, wide open. Van Egan, 45-40, cuts it back against the grain to the 38-yard line. And he's dropped by Tui Alcisopo and Michael Jackson, but a first down, a play of 16 yards from Plunkett to Van Egan.
Somebody missed a defensive assignment here. You see Keith Butler on the blitz there, 53, and it appears that Van Egan is right in his spots. That is where Butler comes from. Someone missed a defensive call there, and Van Egan picks up an easy 18, 19, 20 yards.
Well, if this is a different Oakland team from the one you Seattle fans have seen in recent years, it's no wonder the Raiders made 11 trades during the trading period off-season into training camp. And along with the Los Angeles Rams, that was more than any other team in the National Football League. Here's the 1st and 10 for Plunkett. He wants it all. He's looking for Chandler, and he just overthrew him at the goal line. The coverage was by Kerry Justin, and he simply overthrew Bob Chandler.
Sam, you mentioned the number of trades that the Oakland Raiders made, but they still have 14 members left from their Super Bowl team in 1977. So they still have a good nucleus of players.
Our first quarter statistics, and it would seem to indicate that it's fairly even, although the Raiders had about a minute and a half more possession time, and the score of 3-0 Oakland.
Oakland has also won the battle of field position. They have not really been down with their own goal line at their backs yet today.
Here's a 2nd and 10 now for Jim Plunkett at the Seattle 38-yard line. Joe Norman replaces Terry Beeson on a passing situation for Plunkett. He's back to throw it, again out in the flat. Little Arthur Whittington trying to get away from the defender. Will Lewis, number 41, and he may have done it just enough to get the first down. He reached the 27. I believe that'll be very close to an Oakland first down.
11 yards on that catch. This is one of the things that Plunkett does so well. Great presence in the pocket. You see him already reading the defense. And obviously Whittington is his 3rd or 4th receiver as you see him scan the field. And this is a first down for the Oakland Raiders.
So the Raiders on the move again. They are already in range for Chris Barr. Morris Bradshaw replaces Chandler, so Branch and Bradshaw, the wide receivers, and the give to Van Egan, again just bullying his way over that huge offensive line of the Oakland Raiders. They've got Art Shell at 280, Upshaw's 255, Dalby 250, Mickey Marvin and Henry Lawrence are both 270. And at the moment, they are controlling what they call the pits. Michael Jackson made the stop after a gain of 5.
And that on the bottom line is basically how you win a football game, Sam. Control the line of scrimmage, offensively or defensively, or both, and you're going to win.
Seattle needs a big play, and so far this year, defensively, they've gotten it frequently from 79. Jacob Green, let's see if they can get it again. Hardy almost gave him one. Here's Whittington to about the 22-yard line.
Green on the tackle, Sam.
He'll come up shy of the first down. Jacob Green and Keith Simpson combined to stop Arthur Whittington. There's the first quarter score. Bob Trumpy's Cincinnati Bengals, or they used to be.
No, they're Paul Brown's Cincinnati Bengals. He convinced me of that.
And Philadelphia has leaped on top of Chicago 7-0. Tampa Bay and San Francisco just across the bay here at Candlestick Park. It's 7-7, and Kansas City leads the Lions 3-0. Of course, we'll have NFL 80 at halftime for you. The finals of those that are final and the updates on the rest. Van Egan, I don't believe, got it. He's got Tuiasosopo on his back, and he'll be a yard or two shy of the first down. It will be fourth down and about 2 now. As you look at Jack Patera, this is really not his decision to make. It's the other sideline where the wheels are turning.
And that's why the head coaches in the NFL drive the big, fast, fancy cars. They have to make the choice.
Do they?
Chris Barr onto the field for a second field goal attempt. There's Tom Flores, former Oakland Raider quarterback, talking to the present Oakland Raider quarterback.
It'll be a 38-yard field goal attempt as Bob Chandler will hold for Barr again and spot the ball at the 28-yard line. So Barr trying to go 2 for 2 on the day. He was beaten out in Cincinnati by Ian Sutter, signed as a free agent and puts it dead through the... Oh! Just beautiful kick by Barr. 38-yard field goal. And so the Oakland Raiders on 2 Chris Barr field goals lead at 6-0, and you got to be happy for the young man who lost his job in Cincinnati and has found new life here in Oakland. We'll be back in a minute. 10:59 to go, second quarter. The Raiders lead at 6-0. Here is the kickoff, this time by Chris Barr, not Ray Guy. And he kicks it deep on the far side. Jesse Green, number 86. A flag is down as Green gets back to about the 17-yard line and no farther. Stopped there by Otis McKinney, a former New York Giant, another reclamation project of the Oakland Raiders. And let's see what the penalty would be. The indication is clipping, I think.
I think it's on 55. Yes, illegal use of the hands. Michael Jackson came up behind the Oakland Raider rusher and pushed him past the receiver of the Seattle Seahawks, and that's going to cost them half the distance to the goal, so they now got about first and a bunch.
Here's that last scoring drive by the Raiders. 34 yards and 7 plays. Elapsed time 3:44. Climax 38-yard field goal. Here's the referee.
Illegal use of hands. 55. Return to first down.
Trumpy, good eyes, Mr. Trumpy.
Right there, you see it.
Yep.
Right arm of Michael Jackson extended. Don't panic, Seattle fans. This is the quarter where the Seahawks have scored the most points. 54.
Well, they got a tough place to begin from, their own 7-yard line.
First and 93.
And the folks down in that end zone are throwing some things into the playing area, too, and they're very loud down there. So Zorn doesn't have the best of conditions to start the drive. He sends Largent in motion, gives to the first man through, Jim Jodat, number 43, and he picks up a couple of very difficult yards. McClanahan's on top of the heap along with Michael Davis, but underneath is Reggie Kinlaw, the nose tackle, 62. Well, we talked at the beginning about the importance of this football game today. Denver has already won. They beat the Giants. They're 5-3. The winner of this game will be 5-3. If Kansas City beats Detroit, they'll be 4-4. And if San Diego loses to Dallas tonight, the Chargers will be 5-3. What a great race.
Now, who said the AFC Central was the toughest division in the NFL?
3 wide receivers as Rabel comes on, but they give it instead to Moore. Here he goes, 22-yard line. And that will be a Seattle first down. Jeff Moore got loose and finally stopped by Burgess Owens. A 10-yard scamper by the second-year man from Jackson State. Boy, Jackson State's put out some great football players.
Yes, they have. Good patience shown here by Seattle, too. I think there's a terrible tendency when you're on your own 7-yard line to put it up and try to get a bunch in a hurry. Jerry Rome, who is the offensive coordinator, calls the plays for Jim Zorn, as you see 81 coming in there with it. John Sawyer needs a little daylight between his quarterback's back and their own goal line.
To complete my thought, namely Walter Payton.
He certainly is a good one.
Then he went to Jackson State. First down for Jim Zorn. At the 22-yard line of Seattle, the Seahawks trail 6-0. He throws it to McCullum up at the 35, and that'll be another Seattle first down. The coverage there by Burgess Owens. 13 yards on the completed pass from Zorn to McCullum, and now Jim's got him on the move.
They just have so many weapons. Good fake by Zorn. Sets up very well. His back does not appear to be bothering him at all. Good concentration on the football by McCullum. And another one of those plays against a zone that's almost impossible to stop.
Dan Dornick replaces Jeff Moore in the Seattle backfield. That was the 30th catch of the year for Sam McCullum. He's got 6 touchdown receptions. He's number 9 in receiving in the American Football Conference. A season he won't soon forget, I can assure you.
Here comes Hendricks.
From the blind side. Throws it downfield, and Larson almost made a great play. The coverage by Lester Hayes was ideal. He had inside position. Larson, without getting offensive interference, tried to go up over him to catch the ball. But Hendricks came on the blitz.
Or at least make sure that Hayes did not come up with the interception. But Ted Hendricks was the one who ruined that play, untouched on the backside of that. And, of course, that is the blind side of Jim Zorn. And with a bad back, you don't want him on the ground. Whoever was supposed to block Ted Hendricks will certainly get a nod of the head from Jim Zorn.
Jeff Moore back in there. In games that Seattle has rushed for over 200 yards or run the ball 40 times from scrimmages in their history, they are 11-0. So all they want to do is get 200 yards on the ground. Here's a 2nd and 10. Zorn streaking to the right, throws it downfield. A great catch by Rabel at the 43 of Oakland.
Amazing.
And Burgess Owens is unhappy. I think he believed that he had good coverage on Steve Rabel, who went high in the air to catch it. 22 yards on the completed pass.
The most difficult pass there is in the NFL to throw for any quarterback. He's left-handed. He rolls right, throws back across his body. Rabel comes up with a great big reception. There was pressure all over the place, and you can see that Burgess Owens is very, very upset. But I believe that's the first time that Seattle has been in Oakland territory today.
They have the ball at the Oakland 43-yard line. It's Jodat and Moore in the backfield behind Jim Zorn with 7:51 to go on a moving clock, and the Seattle Seahawks, the high-powered machine, is yet to score. This one to the sidelines and intended out there for Jesse Green, number 86. And he may have caught a glare of that sun, Bob. He seemed to wince a little bit.
Yeah, they both slipped, too. Both he and the man covering him, 42, Monty Jackson. Okay, here comes Oakland now with their pass rush defense. Cedric Hardman, Willie Jones. They come in with 4 defensive linemen, 6 defensive backs, and that leaves 1 linebacker.
That's a lot of offense. That statistic you saw on your screen that Seattle has mounted against Oakland. 3 wide receivers now for the Seahawks. Rabel, Green, and Larson. And the draw play. Moore will get a couple and no more. Mike Davis was not fooled, number 36, and he holds it to a gain of about 2. It'll be 3rd down and 8, just shy of the Oakland 40-yard line, with the Raiders leading 6-0.
And you see the science of that defense with 4 defensive linemen and 6 defensive backs. He is assigned, Mike Davis, to that running back in the backfield. He came up to make the stop because they don't have a middle linebacker, so somebody's got to watch that middle.
Dornick back in the Seattle backfield on 3rd down and 8. They still have the 3 wide receivers. 4 down linemen for Oakland. They may come with the whole ball of wax here. Davis faking the blitz. Now he comes on a delayed blitz. Zorn throwing it way downfield, and he overthrew everybody, but a flag is down in the Oakland secondary. A penalty marker is down, and we will simply have to wait and see what this is all about.
Delay of game, Seattle.
It is indeed. And Zorn is not happy about it. It makes his task even more difficult now on 3rd down and 12, as they'll step off the 5 yards and spot it at about the 45-yard line. Here's Cal Lepore, our referee.
Delay, offense, 3rd down.
So the offense of Seattle has sputtered somewhat here in the first half. They have not been able to get on track, although they've had flashes of brilliance.
Seattle doesn't run a screen very often. And with this situation, with Jeff Moore in the backfield now, along with Dan Dornick, might be a nice time for a screen pass to one of those running backs.
Moore and Dornick in the backfield. On 3rd down and 12, a reasonably big play for Zorn now to keep his come with everybody. And Matuzak has him back at the 46-yard line. Dave Browning, 73 it was, not Matuzak. They came with everybody that time, and Zorn just had no time to set up.
Hendricks on the blitz, too. You see him, 83. And they just really let Browning go free. There was no one there to touch him at all. And that's the first sack of the day for the Oakland Raiders.
And they're 28th on the year, Bob. They've had a marvelous year in sacking the quarterback. Ira Matthews awaiting the punt from Herman Weaver. So again, Seattle gets nothing out of their offensive drive, and they continue to trail here 6-0. And Thunderfoot booms a high spiral. Matthews at his 16-yard line. The coverage a little better this time, but Matthews shakes free to about the 27. Good return by the little scamperer from Wisconsin. The punt was 50, or rather 37 yards, and a return of 11. And so the Oakland Raiders go to work. 6:31 to go in the second quarter. Well, if you thought we were being a wee bit too generous to Denver earlier when we show you the standings, you're absolutely right. We had Denver at 5-3. They are 4-4, but that's still a marvelous race nonetheless. Anybody has a chance to win it, particularly if San Diego gets beat by Dallas tonight. Seattle and Oakland in a death struggle here in Oakland. 6-0 the Raiders, and the give is to Kenny King, who's back in the lineup. We reported that he would probably return after suffering a twisted ankle early on in the first quarter. And he carries for 3 yards, stopped by the middle linebacker, Terry Beeson. And Oakland has had some total offense in their games against Seattle. They just haven't been able to win the game, that's all.
Plunkett now on the day is 7 of 10 for 70 yards. He's over 14,000 yards now. Passing stats for his career. Heisman Trophy winner from Stanford back in 1970.
Second down and 7. The ball at the Oakland 30-yard line. Plunkett to throw. Steps up in the pocket. Heavy pressure. Fumbles the ball! And I think the scramble's still on, and Seattle has it. Seattle's got the football. It's Manu Tuiasosopo who made the recovery, and it may have been Jacob Green who forced the fumble, Bob.
It was. You said earlier that their big play man so far has been Jacob Green this season. You see him right there in front of you on Henry Lawrence, number 79. Let's see if we can't see exactly how this happens. Plunkett is flushed out a little bit, and he's gotten good protection so far this season. Well, it's not Green that knocks the ball out. I'm going to tell you that. He may be great.
Right there. Who slapped it out?
75.
No, it's Tuiasosopo who forced the play and made the recovery.
He deserves it then.
What a great effort. So Seattle with the first big break of the afternoon at the Oakland 21-yard line. Al Hunter making his first appearance in the backfield with Jeff Moore. They've got their light backs in there. The give to Moore. Fumbles the ball, and Oakland, I believe, has it back again. They're trying to pry everybody apart, but when they do, I think they'll find that Oakland has the football.
Ted Hendricks once again was in there, Sam, along with Browning.
Yeah, the indication is Oakland. Wow. That has got to be a discouraging blow to the Seattle Seahawks.
He seems to hesitate here in the offensive backfield, and you'll see 83 and 73. It is a little delay, but the running back has no real chance to go anywhere, and he also appears to cut back against the grain. That's Hendricks, and it's also Matuzak, not Browning in there. Hendricks on the hit. It appeared that Jeff Moore, the play was designed to come to the left, and he was going to break it back to the right. He has no interference there at all.
Jeff Seavey and John Matuzak had words. You may have seen Seavey dive into the pile a little late, and Matuzak didn't take too kindly to it. I wouldn't want to start up with Matuzak at 6'8", 290. So from the 27, Oakland right back where it began. Raymond Chester at the 33, turns it upfield but steps out of bounds in front of Keith Simpson, but he picks up about 7 yards on the reception. Yeah, let's make it 5. I was too generous. Second down and 5. John Harris is back in there. He went to the dressing room earlier with a rib injury, the free safety for the Seahawks, but he has come back out in the field, and that's got to be good news for Seattle fans.
He's their second leading tackler, which is a somewhat dubious distinction. Being a free safety, you don't want your free safety making a lot of tackles, but nevertheless, an important part of the team.
The offensive line protecting Plunkett very well. Only 1 sack in his last 2 appearances. Throws it out here to Morris Bradshaw, and he overthrew him at about the 37. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 now for for the Oakland Raiders. Kerry Justin with the coverage. And speaking of Kerry Justin, reminds us that the Cornell Webster retirement was just a shock to everybody in pro football. He seemed to be enjoying a great year. And to the surprise of particularly Jack Patera and the Seattle people, he just walked in after the Cleveland loss and said, I don't want to hack it anymore. I don't like it.
Well, that's happened to a lot of players. I played with a guy in Cincinnati named Mike Reed who played 5 years and said, that's enough. I've had it. I don't want the discipline anymore.
Well, if you're watching Cornell, we wish you luck in whatever you do. Bill Cook replaces Tuiasa Sopo on 3rd and 5. Trying to get a pass rush here. And coming back for the ball was Bradshaw, but it was underthrown. And it'll be 4th down, and Oakland's got to give it up. And they won't at least have to give it up in as bad field position as they did moments ago when Tuiasa Sopo forced a fumble and then recovered it. Well, we've only got 5:24 to go in the second quarter. Would you have believed a 6-0 game, Bob?
No. These are two very, very high-powered offenses. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a lot more scoring. The game has been very, very even. Only one real mistake, and that was the fumble by both teams.
Ray Guy punting for just the second time today. Will Lewis is back at his 23-yard line. And they put some pressure on him. And Guy gets away a good punt. Lewis fair catch at the 21-yard line, and that's where Zorn will go back to work again. The fans, I think, wanted a roughing the punter. They did not get one. They had some pressure on Guy.
We'll give him consideration, no, for an Emmy.
The consummate actor, Ray Guy, and here it is again. It's 6-0 Oakland. Seattle on offense again. No penalty. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Seahawks football on KING-TV, Seattle.
The clock tells you we have 5:17 to go second quarter. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy on a magnificent day in Oakland, California. The Raiders lead at 6-0. Seattle has the ball at its own 21-yard line. Sam McCullum, we are told, has a bruised thigh, has been taken to the locker room. So the Seahawks have lost a very skilled wide receiver for now. Here's a pass to Moore out of the backfield, and it was just slightly underthrown, incompleted pass. Here are some partial scores. We go to the fourth quarter with St. Louis and Baltimore, and the Cardinals, pulling the upset of the day, lead 17-3. In the second quarter, Cincinnati leads Houston now 6-0. Philadelphia in the second quarter continues to lead Chicago 7-0. And San Francisco 17-14 over Tampa Bay. That's in the second quarter. Kansas City leading the Detroit Lions, who are in danger of losing their third straight. It's 10-0 the Chiefs. That game is in the second quarter. It's 6-0 Oakland here. Almost bobbled by Moore. Had to reach back for it. And he runs out of bounds at the 17-yard line. And Zorn, with his hands on his hips, is disgusted.
And I think Jim Zorn is all right, but we don't know how his back feels. And, of course, he did miss a day of practice, and we also do not know how hard he practiced on Friday and Saturday. He had that back spasm on Wednesday, and the offense of the Seattle Seahawks so far has really been struggling. 5 of 11, 83 yards. Those aren't bad stats, but not great for Zorn.
There are just marvelous statistics on Zorn. You can just, make up a book of them. This young man has thrown for more yards in his first 4 years in the National Football League than anyone except Joe Namath. Over 11,000 yards on 3rd down and 13 now. Zorn sprinting out. Throws it downfield and incomplete. He intended the pass for Al Hunter, the former Notre Dame star. And Oakland's going to get excellent field position here after Herman Weaver punts it.
And we mentioned how Jim Zorn and the Seattle Seahawks like to roll out and throw the football. It appears that the Oakland Raiders are rushing their defensive ends a lot wider to make sure that if he's out there to throw the ball, he's going to be bothered. And so far it has bothered Zorn.
Herman Weaver is punting from the shadow of his own goalpost. He'll kick this one from about the 5, and Ira Matthews back at his 45-yard line. Matthews has been scintillating so far today. He has not, we are told, been enjoying a particularly good season, but he's been great this afternoon.
Scintillating, is that good?
Well, it's close to it. Good snap from center, and Weaver gets off a good punt. Matthews a fair catch at the 43-yard line. And so the good field position is attained by the Oakland Raiders. They lead here 6-0 with 4:54 to go in the second quarter. And they're talking it over. Maybe they didn't want him to call for the fair catch. Who knows? Meanwhile, Thunderfoot did his job, and now the Seattle defense will have to go to work again.
You know,
well, a few minutes ago, you saw a pretty good acting job by Ray Guy, but this is a consummate performance by Herman Weaver trying to get the roughing the kicker call. Wait a minute. Somebody just knocked me down.
the Lee Strasberg School of Punting.
We're back live. Oakland from the 42. The quick pitches to Kenny King. Trying to get outside. He does. Out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. A gain of about 5 on the carry by Kenny King. It'll be second down 5 Raiders with the clock now moving us to halftime with 4:49 to play.
Sam, the Seattle Seahawks offense was gathered over around their offensive coaches on the sideline trying to figure something out here and get some points on the board if they get the ball back before this first half ends.
Derek Jensen, number 31, in the backfield with King. Jensen is a second-year man out of Texas, Arlington. So Van Egan taking a rest here on 2nd and 5. They send Morris, Bradshaw in motion. And King comes near side. And he cuts it up to the 50. 45, watch out, out of bounds. Hanging on his back was Michael Jackson. But the Raiders are really moving people out. They go student body left and then student body right. A 9-yard carry and another Oakland first down. And King seems to be fine, having recovered from that twisted ankle.
And they also stopped the clock. But, you know, this is a young man until this year who had an awful lot of bad luck. Went to Oklahoma, had the misfortune of playing in the backfield with Billy Sims, who was a Heisman Trophy winner. Drafted by the Houston Oilers. He plays behind Earl Campbell, Heisman Trophy winner. Well, finally comes to Oakland, gets a chance to win his own sort of trophy. Averaging 5.5 yards a carry so far this season.
Former college roommate of Reggie Kinlaw's. First down, Plunkett to pass. Throws it on the far side. Plunkett by Jensen. Out of bounds. At about the 35-yard line, Keith Butler had the coverage, but it would appear, Bob, early on after the 8-yard completion, that maybe the Seattle secondary is giving them everything in front and really trying to take the bomb away, in as much as Plunkett had 3 of them against Pittsburgh last week.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that they watched the film of Pittsburgh and they saw Plunkett putting it up to Cliff Branch every other time, and I don't blame them for backing up. Cliff Branch runs the 100 meters in 9.2. That's not bad.
So from the 38-yard line, it's a second down and about 3 now for the Raiders. Arthur Whittington in the backfield giving King a rest. Here's Whittington to the 40, 35, and a first down as he races to the 31-yard line. Stopping him was Keith Simpson and John Harris. So it's 6-0 here. Let's switch to Bryant Gumbel at NFL 80 in New York. Bryant?
Thank you, Sam. At the Astrodome in Houston, the Bengals are out in front of the Oilers, and they are back in business in Oiler territory. Cliff Parsley getting off a punt here, but watch this run back by Cleopa Montgomery. This is the unheralded brother of Wilbert. He gets it back to midfield. The Bengals are in possession of the ball and the lead. Let's go back to Sam in Oakland.
Thank you, Bryant, very much. Here at 6-0 Oakland, Cincinnati having some fun down at the Astrodome. They apparently are for real. Couple of yards on that carry.
Well, I can tell you that this is what Seattle did not want. A long offensive drive by the Oakland Raiders just prior to the half, already down 6 points. I think they wanted another chance offensively.
Arthur Whittington, they give him 1 on the carry. It'll be second down and 9. Jackson is the man who made the stop. So Plunkett has had them down here before, Bob, but their drives have stalled, and they've come away with a couple of crisp-bar field goals. And you remarked earlier that you can't keep getting down there and just coming away with 3.
You're right.
Both wide receivers are split left. Second down. Plunkett, plenty of time over the middle of Raymond Chester. He's at the 19-yard line, and that'll be an Oakland first down in front of Kerry Justin. And this is a big day for Raymond Chester, who has now exceeded 4,000 yards in his career and getting a chance to play with the trade of David Casper to the Houston Oilers. 10 yards on the completed pass.
It's interesting, too, that Jim Plunkett is being very patient here. He's used the clock very well. Now 2:50 left, and he's not really putting it up. Just nickeling and diming it down the field, paying attention to where he is and how much time there is left. Now 2:40 left on the 21 or the 20.5-yard line of Seattle.
Right in between the 20 and 21. Let's call it the 20-yard line and keep it even. First down. Plunkett having a nice day again and not pressured very often. The offensive line keeping him out, in a great catch by Chandler down at about the 7-yard line. And he beat double coverage of Kerry Justin and John Harris. And it'll be first down and goal to go for the Raiders.
Good protection for Plunkett. He's not been sacked yet today. You give a quarterback, I don't care who he is, this much time to throw it. And a good pattern run by Bob Chandler. We give him credit too. Comes back for the ball slightly, and they are really beating badly the Seattle Seahawks defenders, and Bob Chandler is now down on the field.
Speaking of being beaten up, Chandler remains down. And as Bob and I both mentioned, he had both knee and back problems last year in Buffalo. In fact, the last couple of years, he played only 3 games in Buffalo last season, and he came here in the much heralded trade for Phil Villapiano. And I think it's been a deal that's helped both teams. Although Villapiano does not start for Buffalo, he has given them some stability in their defensive unit, and he and Isaiah Robertson. And of course, you know what Chandler's done here. He's just had a great year. 22 catches coming into the game. He's all right. 4 touchdowns and 38 career touchdown catches by that young man out of USC.
And the Oakland Raiders have a way with players like this. They brought Chandler in here and they said, take your time, take your time. They did the same with Plunkett. Brian Gumbel in New York. Studio 6A will handle NFL 80 at halftime. Scores, comments, highlights, and maybe his life story.
I saw more of Studio 6A in New York the last 10 days than I ever want to see during the whole World Series. First down and goal to go now for the Raiders. A chance to take a nice lead of 13-0 if they can move it in. Plunkett, play action, little pressure, throws it out to Whittington. And he gets back to about the 9, but Plunkett avoided the loss to the 15-yard line. Keith Simpson is a man who cut his legs from under him. We have reached the 2-minute warning here at the Oakland Coliseum. The Raiders lead at 6-0, but they are threatening for more. As you look at the pressure, Robert Hardy coming right up the middle, and the pressure on Plunkett.
While we were away during commercial, they assessed the Oakland Raiders, they being the officials, a penalty for offensive holding. Now the Oakland Raiders are going to have first and goal at the Seattle Seahawks 15-yard line. Plunkett now 12 of 17, 106 yards on the day, and they need a touchdown here.
Speaking of quarterbacks, we've received word that Ron Jaworski of the Philadelphia Eagles has suffered a slight concussion in Chicago. They think he could come back in the second half. The last score we had was 7-0 Philadelphia over the Bears, but without Jaworski, they could be in trouble.
Pete Johnson in the Astrodome apparently has strained ligaments in his knee. The Bengals leading the Houston Oilers 6-0.
Here at 6-0, Oakland in front. A first down and goal to go as you look at the stats of Jim Plunkett. Joe Norman replaces Terry Beeson. They're looking for Plunkett to try to throw it into the end zone. Pressure's on. Tuiasa Sopo got a hand on him but could not throw him down, and the flag is down again. Plunkett threw that one away, and I don't know whether that'll be intentional grounding or whether it was holding at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's not that official's call. It might be an offensive,
It's against
illegal,
the Raiders.
an illegal man downfield.
So the Raider fans are not happy about their team moving in the wrong direction. They started out with a first and goal at the 7. And after they walk this one off, they will have first and goal back at the 25-yard line. Here's Cal Lepore, the referee.
I'm sure the Seattle fans are very happy about this.
Sure are.
Ineligible player downfield, number 5 hold. Offense, first down.
Well, Dave Dalby doesn't get a chance to go down very often, does he?
He's got bad hands. There's no reason for him to go down.
Yeah, we got folks up here in the booth with great eyes. Our spotters, Bill Breslin and Len Shapiro, and our statistician, Ted Reinholz. What would we do without them, Mr. Trumpy? We'd be lost. First and 25. And Plunkett again back. A little more time this time. Throws it in the end zone. He's got Whittington and just overthrew him. Arthur Whittington coming out of the backfield was the intended receiver. Simpson and Michael Jackson with the coverage, but Plunkett just threw it a little bit too much on a line.
Yeah, Seattle can hold Oakland here to another field goal. Tremendous advantage for them. They're still in the ball game. 9-0 at halftime, and they really have not gotten their offense on track yet.
You remember earlier I told you about an amazing statistic about this Seattle ball club. I don't know if the fans back there realize it, but in the 3 games that Seattle has lost at home, they have given up, the defense, 98 points. In the 4 games they have won on the road, they have only given up 40 points.
I think you ought to put the team on a plane every weekend no matter where they play. And if it's in the Kingdom, just bring them back.
Second and 25 for the Oakland Raiders. Plunkett will throw it again if he can. X excellent protection. Has all day. In the end zone. Branch picked it up, and it's almost intercepted. Diving for the ball was Kerry Justin. They closed very quickly on Cliff Branch. You know, before the game, I saw Dave Brown in the lobby of the hotel, and I said, what will be your basic responsibility today? He said, I know I'm going to see a lot of action because I have Cliff Branch.
Simpson and Minor were there, too, as the ball popped loose. But look at the time that Plunkett has to look around the field here. And they have to get a pass rush either through a blitz or whatever. But all four, look at there, all four Seattle defensive linemen right there in the middle of your picture. No containment whatsoever. And then you see Minor, you see Butler. Almost an interception by Kerry Justin. Now third down and a lot.
I would think Plunkett has got to stop thinking about the touchdown and get the sure three here. He's got to complete something to make it a little bit easier for Chris Barr. Third and goal at the 25. Stepping up in the pocket. Throws it in the end zone to Chandler, and it's out of the field of play. Justin had it well covered. Chandler ran the down and out pattern, and he just ran out of room over there. And so it's fourth down, and now they have what I would term a moderately difficult field goal. If he had picked up 10 there, it would have been a chip shot for Barr. Now the placement will come at about the 32-yard line, an attempt at 43 yards. Not an automatic.
He has a good, strong leg, though. I played with Chris Barr for 2 or 3 years. I don't think this is out of his range. Above 50 yards, he really has problems, and especially on a grass field. You don't get as good a kick on the ball on a grass field, but you'll be able to see yourself where he makes it.
Well, I didn't suggest it was out of his range, but it surely will be more difficult. 43 yards. Chandler got it down. It's in that direction. No, I think it's wide. It is wide. And what a great lift to the Seattle Seahawks. Their defense has stiffened again and given nothing on this occasion. We have a minute 26 left in the half, and that's all the scoring we have. 6-0 Oakland. The preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Oakland. Sam McCullum has just come back to the playing field. And we are proud. We're proud to be associated with both of these teams who are in the American Football Conference. Jim Zorn, not a vintage day at all, Bob.
5 of 12 of 83 yards, and Sam McCullum is now behind the end zone. He must get to his side of the field, and it may be a penalty.
He's still running it out. First down for Seattle. Zorn setting up the screen to Jeff Moore. 25, looking for a block. To the 30, breaks the tackle and spins to the 33-yard line. And he'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. The Seahawks in their hurry-up offense. A minute 11 to go. The 8-yard completed pass on the screen to Jeff Moore. Millen and Burgess Owens made the stop, and Zorn is back again. This time the first down to Jodad up at the 40-yard line. And let's see, they stop the clock. So Zorn takes a timeout here as he reaches the 40-yard line of Seattle with 55 seconds to play.
Plenty of time left. They can't be impatient here. Just stay with it. The yardage that the Oakland Raiders are going to protect now is behind them. They're going to give them that 10, 15, 20-yard reception.
Bob, what surprises me a bit is that Oakland continues to go with Matt Millen and Randy McClanahan in a situation in which you know Zorn's got to put the football up in the air, and they're going with just the traditional 4 defensive backs.
Well, one of the things that they have to look out for, though, is the screen pass. That is very susceptible. That nickel configuration is very susceptible to the screen pass. So they're going to try to play their straight, normal defense, get a decent pass rush out of their up front guys, and maybe blitz a linebacker here in a play or two just to disrupt them and play it pretty close to the vest.
Now, the offensive line of the Seattle Seahawks has a couple of distinguishing characteristics, namely that last year they allowed an AFC low of only 23 sacks, and last year they had only 11 holding penalties. So they have done the job in the pass for Zorn. At the moment, they have not helped him to any points today. Rabel comes out and McCullum is in. And we mentioned that Sam had a bruised thigh, went to the locker room, has come back on the field, as has Kenny King of Oakland and John Harris of Seattle. So all of the wounded have returned.
Temporarily.
Zornink and Moore in the backfield behind Zorn. 55 seconds left in the half. First down.
Blitz.
They pick it up this time. Throws it down for John Sawyer, and good coverage by Mike Davis. The 3-year veteran out of Colorado. He had single coverage on the tight end.
I'm kind of surprised. They had an all-out blitz in that situation. Oakland really taking a chance defensively, but trying to disrupt the timing of the pass patterns by Seattle. They're leading 6-0 now. 50 seconds to go in the first half, and here comes 4 more Oakland Raiders into the lineup.
It's the day of specialized football, and the total offense just is not what we expected today. 265 yards total offense. Zorn usually throws for that much against Oakland, and that's the combined total through one half, at least to this point, with 50 seconds to play. 2nd and 10. And a little out pattern to Largent. He's caught only 1 pass today, if memory serves me correctly. That one's incomplete.
You are correct.
Nope, it's 3rd down.
Jim Zorn just seems to be a yard long, a yard short. He's thrown it into the ground. He doesn't appear to be really on his game. And when he is, everybody that's watched the Seattle Seahawks knows what an accurate passer he is. On the season so far, about 60% completion.
I think, Bob, we probably have to give Oakland some credit. I think they've contained him very well on the outside pass rush. They have blitzed him often today, and very well, Hendricks particularly. 3 wide receivers, McCullum, Largent, and Rabel on 3rd down and 10 if Seattle is to keep the football with 46 seconds to go in the first half. Steps up, lost the ball as he tried to release it. Tried to get it to Largent. They'll rule it an incompleted pass. Lester Hayes picked the ball up thinking it was a fumble, but it would be an incompleted pass.
His arm was going forward. And once again, that is just not Jim Zorn. You mentioned give credit to Oakland. Well, I think we can't judge the intangibles. That win over Pittsburgh last week and over San Diego 2 weeks ago, no telling how it's elevated this football team. That's obviously, although it's a slip out of his hands, it is ruled an incomplete forward pass.
Ira Matthews in single safety at his 20-yard line. So Oakland will get the ball back again, and Plunkett will have a chance to do a number without much time left. Oh, great punt by Weaver. Outstanding, all the way back to the 10-yard line. Matthews is dipped at the 12. Art Kuhn, number 54, and Mark Bell, number 82, the first man downfield. And you couldn't ask for better special teams play. A 50-yard punt by Weaver, a 2-yard return by Ira Matthews. And don't forget, next Sunday, exciting doubleheader action. We invite you to start your day with NFL 80. Our host, Bryant Gumbel, bringing you up to date on the news, scores, highlights, and much more. Then you will see the San Diego Chargers take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Houston Oilers battle the Denver Broncos, plus, of course, other regional action all next week on NFL football right here on NBC. And we're getting near our halftime show, NFL 80. We'll bring you right up to date on scores of all the other games today as Van Egan crosses the 15 to about the 17. And I would think all Oakland wants to do here, Bob, is just hold on to the football.
And all Seattle wants to do is get in there and kind of regroup, get their offense back on track. They're very lucky to only be down 6-0.
We may not have another play. Oakland elects to let the clock run down, and that will be the end. 5 seconds to go in the half, and they start to head for the dressing room. And when the score comes up around the nation today that Oakland has a 6-0 lead over Seattle at the half, I don't think anybody's going to believe it. Not that Oakland leads, but the fact that these two high-scoring offenses have only put 6 points on the board.
And also the importance of this football game is for second place in the AFC West, and neither team is really playing up to their potential the way they played the last couple of 3 weeks.
So the Oakland Raiders trying to break the dominance of the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle winning the last 4 games against Oakland, 4 of 5 in the series. And the Raiders would like to quell that little thing right here in Oakland if they could. So that's the end of the first half from the Oakland Coliseum. The score, the Oakland Raiders 6, the Seattle Seahawks nothing. It's new life here in Oakland.
And you know, it's interesting, too, for Seattle. Jim Zorn has completed 3 passes to his outside receivers. Largent 1, McCullum 1, and Rabel 1. Sawyer's caught a pass. Jodad has caught 2, and Moore has caught 1, and that's it. And this is a passing offense.
Earlier this week, the Oakland Raiders signed as a free agent the former Nebraska All-American I.M. Hip, who was cut by the Atlanta Falcons. We have yet to see him play today, at least as far as running from scrimmage is concerned. But they're very high on him. In fact, wanted him before Atlanta drafted him this year. And there he is on the sideline. That is quick, very quick camera work by Dick Klein, our director, and our producer, Roy Hammerman. How'd they find him?
And as long as you're talking about late additions, the Seattle Seahawks picked up Lawrence McCutcheon, who was waived from the Denver Broncos and played for years with the Los Angeles Rams.
And we are told he almost assuredly will not play today. So we're about set for the second half kickoff. Efren Herrera kicking deep to number 22 Arthur Whittington and number 43 Ira Matthews. The Seahawks need a spark of offense. The Raiders would like to keep it just like it is. They have played shutout ball defensively in the first half. It'll be Matthews at his 3-yard line. 10 to the 15. Breaks 2 tackles. Stumbles to the 25. A great effort by Ira Matthews. Second-year man out of the University of Wisconsin, averaging 24-9 on kickoff returns. He brought that one back 23, but it was 23 hard yards as Terry Renneker brought him down. And we have an injured Raider on the field. I think it's Arthur Whittington.
I'm not sure we'll see this, but Arthur Whittington was trying to make a block for Ira Matthews, and Mr. Whittington came out on the short end of the stick. Well, you see him going down. Matthews has given Oakland good field position, decent field position, on just about every punt return or kickoff return he has had today.
Got great balance. Had a 104-yard kickoff return against the San Diego Chargers. That is the longest in Oakland Raider history. And the first half statistics, Bob, nothing jumps out at me.
Except the 5 minutes more in time of possession, and I think most of that came in the final 6 or 7 minutes of the half when Oakland drove the ball all the way down the field and got no points. That's the positive side for Seattle.
Here we go, 25-yard line, just starting the second half as you've joined us. It has been a defensive struggle, and most people would not believe it. Van Egan to about the 30-yard line, carrying Butler and Jackson with him, and Van Egan continues to run very effectively. And again, we bring you back to the standings. I know it's only 8 games into the season, halfway point, but it is very important to note that everybody in the AFC West is still very much alive. The Chargers have to play Dallas tonight. If they should lose, they would be 5-3, the same record as the winner of this game, because Oakland and Seattle are both 4-3.
I mention also that Seattle in the last 2 years has dominated Oakland. Seattle has also not lost on the road this year.
Second down. Play action for Plunkett. Looking downfield. Has all day.
Branch
throws the home run ball for Branch. And he beat John Harris and Dave Brown.
Sam, this play covered 64 yards. It starts with great pass protection by the Oakland Raider offensive line, and there's no way that this ball should have been completed. Harris was right there. He just misjudged his jump, and you see it go right between his hands. One Seattle defender tripped the other one, and it's a 64-yard reception, and good gravy. They're back in business quickly.
Speaking of big plays, Earl Campbell has just run 55 yards for a touchdown. Houston leads 10-3 over Cincinnati in the third quarter. I think I gave that score incorrectly in the first half as being 6-0. I am sorry. It was 3-3 at the half. Here's the give now to Van Egan as he stumbles to about the 13-yard line. Keith Butler knocked his legs out from under him, so a gain of about 4. It'll be second down and 6.
And another Seahawk down on the ground.
And again, Oakland is down where they should be getting 6 and not having to settle for 3 again, Bob.
That's Michael Jackson on the ground. The linebacker, their leading tackler. They need him in their defense. He has to go off for a play now. And as you said, Sam, there's no guarantee that Oakland will get it in the end zone here. They've had problems.
Michael Jackson has been the Seahawks' leading tackler with 69 entering the game. He just has been their all-around best linebacker. Forced a couple of fumbles. He was drafted 3rd last year, in fact behind Joe Norman, but has beaten Norman out for the starting left linebacking job. And I think many people around the country remember Michael Jackson as the guy who saved Washington's Rose Bowl win over Michigan a few years ago.
Oh, I thought he was a guy who was a good dancer.
He's not related.
That's not the guy.
To Michael Jackson of the Jackson 5. Oh, is that what you're looking for me to say?
Yeah, obvious mistake.
Second down and 6 at the 12-yard line of Seattle. Handoff, Kenny King. Great defensive play by the man I was just talking about, Joe Norman. Number 52 out of Indiana. He and Jackson were drafted 2-3 by Seattle last year, and Norman just strung the play out, Bob.
It's interesting, too, as you'll see Kenny King kind of grabbing a hold of the shirt tail of number 63, just to the right of your picture there, Gene Upshaw. And he's betting that the 14-year veteran is going to get him up through the line of scrimmage. Well, he bet wrong, because Gene Upshaw got nothing for him, and Seattle comes up with another big play. Now 3rd down and 7.
That's a wonderful individual effort by Joe Norman. And Seattle again trying to thwart Oakland deep in Seattle territory. It's 6-0 Raiders looking for more. 3rd down and 6. Plunkett throws it. And a little bit low, no catch. They rule no catch by Raymond Chester. And again, the Raiders will have to settle for the field goal attempt. Terry Justin with the coverage. And that pass was a little bit low, underthrown by Jim Plunkett.
Amazing. Seattle has really done a great job inside their own 10-yard line. Inside their own 20. They have kept Oakland out. This could be a real blowout, but it's only 6-0 with the possibility of 3 more points, and that's no guarantee.
Matt Barr will attempt a 30-yard field goal. He is 2 of 3 on the day. And this would force, of course, Seattle to score twice to win the game. The kick is up. Chandler's hold, and it is good. A 30-yard field goal for Chris Barr, his 3rd of the day, and it's the only scoring we've had. So there's a timeout on the field. The Oakland Raiders 9, the Seattle Seahawks nothing. We'll be back in a minute.
At about $4.50 a quart, this is one of the most expensive motor oils in the world. Or is it? If you drive 25,000 miles a year, the money you save on gas, oil changes, and oil filters alone can add up.
Yeah, that should be great. Some of the promising professional boxers of the future here on NBC Sports World next week. I did the Legends of Bowling, Bob, and thoroughly enjoyed that. Some of my boyhood heroes like Don Carter, Billy Golubieski, Eddie Lubansky. Here's the kick from the 5-yard line. Will Lewis trying to shake it at the 40. Fumbled the ball, and Seattle got it back. At the 30-yard line, he fumbled the football, and he got it back at about the 35. Rabel is a man who covered up a return of 34 yards by little Will Lewis, but he almost stopped the heart of all Seattle fans around the country.
This was very, very close, and this is an excellent return. He just turns on the jets. That's basically what you want your kickoff return men to do. He appears to get it stripped, yes, out of his arm by, Derek Ramsey, number 84. And John Sawyer, man on the spot.
Last scoring drive, 63 yards in 6 plays, 3 minutes and 2 seconds of elapsed time. The field goal of 30 yards by Barr. Play action. Zorn wants to get something in motion. Hendricks. The only thing he gets in motion is the Oakland Raider defense. And Ted Hendricks is having another great day for himself.
He has done that for his entire career because of his size, 6'7", 225 pounds, and you have a running back trying to block him who may be 5'10" and 180 or 190. It really is a mismatch. And if there's one thing that has really cost Jim Zorn in Seattle any consistency in offense, it has been that blitz by Ted Hendricks.
That's a good point, Bob, because I think the guy blocking him on that occasion was Jim Jodad out of Carthage College at 5'11", 213, and he gives away about 8 inches in height.
And about 35 pounds, too.
6 defensive backs being used now by the Oakland Raiders on 2nd down and 15.
Blitz again.
Zorn has time. Intercepted. Lester Hayes, a flag is down at the 30-yard line to the 27. Interception number 5 on the year for Lester Hayes, but a flag is down. And it may be for naught.
And Sam, he threw it right to Lester Hayes.
Nope, it's against Seattle holding.
Hold over here at 76th. Decline. First down.
The holding call was against Steve August. Listen to this crowd.
I'm telling you, you're going to watch this pass, and Jim Zorn throws it directly to Hayes. Nowhere close to his receiver. The receiver's about 3 yards inside. Look at there, right to him. Intended for Largent. As we said, Zorn has a bad back. In the first half, he was 7 of 17. And now that interception once again gives Oakland tremendous field position.
Lester Hayes went into this game tied for 2nd in the AFC in interceptions with 4. That is obviously number 5. Kenny King spinning for a couple of yards. Stopped by Michael Jackson on the bottom and Keith Simpson, number 42, on top. A gain of about 2. Let's make it 2nd down and 8.
And this is nowhere close to the football game we thought we had.
I'll tell you what shocks me the most. Oakland came into this football game having yielded more points than any team in the AFC, 178. They've averaged 25.5 points giving up a game. They were ranked 24th in the NFL in defense in 1979, and to this point they have shut out Jim Zorn, back and all.
Oakland has also scored 83 points in their last 2 football games.
And the draw play to Van Egan. He's on the loose to the 10. And a first down. They brought in the 5th defensive back, Vic Minor. And Plunkett had the perfect call for it. 15 yards on the draw play to Mark Van Egan.
You hit it right on the head. A great call by Jim Plunkett. And he calls all his own plays, expecting the pass. And for the first time today, the young defensive lineman of the Seattle Seahawks kind of went away from home. You see Hardy way out of the picture. A good block by Dalby on the middle linebacker. And Van Egan 15 yards. Oakland ball now 1st and 10 on their 10.
And the Raiders can get a first down here without having to cross the goal line. It's just outside the 10-yard line. Van Egan for a yard and then diving for another one. Great second effort. Michael Jackson was there along with Kerry Justin.
Here we go again.
Do we still have Joe Norman in at left side linebacker? Nope, Jackson has come back. I just mentioned it. So we've got a gain of about 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And Kenny King comes off limping on that ankle that he twisted in the first half. Joe Norman now in the defense for the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawk defense stiffens.
Expecting Plunkett to put the ball up. 8:59 to go 3rd quarter. The Raiders lead this game 6-0. And again, they're looking for more. Here's Whittington squirting through a hole to the 5. And it closed very quickly with Manu Tuiasosopo making the big play to stop him at the 5. I got to come back and visit this Oakland front 4, this Seattle front 4, Bob, in 3 years after Green, Hardy, and Tuiasosopo have had a few seasons together under Jack Patera's tutelage. You know, he had the fearsome foursome in Minnesota, in Los Angeles, the Purple People Eaters in Minnesota. This guy has single-handedly built some of the most awesome front 4s in the game.
Well, he'd like for them to be awesome right here, too, Sam.
3rd down and 5 at the 5. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Plunkett has all day in the end zone. Touchdown. Chandler.
That's Chandler's 5th touchdown reception of the 1980 season. And once again, Jim Plunkett looking all over the field. I have a feeling that Chandler is about his 3rd or 4th receiver. Great protection. And at the end of the end zone, over Kerry Justin. He does get his feet back down in the end zone, and it's a touchdown.
39th career touchdown catch by Bob Chandler. Chris Farr will attempt to make it 16-0. The placement kick is up, and it is perfect. So the Oakland Raiders have not only done the job defensively, they have started to assert themselves offensively. Jim Plunkett throwing for yet another touchdown pass. It is 16-0 Raiders. We'll be back with their kickoff in a moment. And so following the interception by Lester Hayes, the Raiders moved 27 yards in 5 plays. And the touchdown pass from Plunkett to Chandler covered 5 yards. It is 16-0, and I would think Seattle's got to do something now.
Well, something that they haven't done all day long, Sam. Very little offense. You know, it's interesting that through this football game so far, Seattle has not converted on the 3rd down.
I hadn't realized that. Will Lewis at the 5. To the 15-20. Daylight to the 30, needs a block. 40, 45. Into Oakland territory and brought down from behind by Morris Bradshaw. And that may be the big play that ignites the spark.
Did you see Morris Bradshaw catch up with him, though? Good gravy. I've seen speed for people 53 yards on the return, and it's almost a mirror image of the one he had earlier that he almost fumbled. But watch 81 in the background. Watch the ground he makes up to make the tackle. Good Lord. Seattle only has 20 yards rushing in this football game, 0 in the second half.
Well, Lewis has given him great field position. They look desperately for a big play, and they may have gotten it there from Lewis. But they've got to convert. Zorn on first down. A little out pattern, caught by McCullum at the 33 and out of bounds. Let's bring you up to date now on the other games still going on around the National Football League. They're in the 3rd quarter. Houston has scored 10 unanswered points. They now lead Cincinnati 13-3. Philadelphia still just 7-0 over Chicago. I presume that game is into the 3rd quarter. Across the bay, San Francisco trails Tampa Bay 14-13. Jerry Eckwood has just run in from 35 yards. And Detroit has come back to tie Kansas City. 5.5 minutes to play 3rd quarter. That game is tied 10-10. And That's the scoring play we talked about a moment ago. Here it's 2nd down and 2 for Seattle. And the give is to Jodat. He didn't get it, I don't think, although he might have burrowed his way under the pile. Browning knocked him down, and so did Matuzak.
And that catch by Sam McCullum just a second ago was only his 2nd catch of the day. And that may be the whole story of the football game, that Zorn has not been able to get the ball to his 2 favorite receivers, McCullum and Largent.
Well, it's 3rd down. They're not even going to bring the sticks in. It's going to be 3rd. Well, they are now, I guess. So let's wait and see. McCullum now trotting to the sidelines. In the event of a 3rd down and short, they obviously will double tight end with Sawyer and Bell and bring in Ron Essig in the slot. That is the normal pattern. And they're going to have to do it because they've come up about a half a yard shy of the 1st down. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Seahawks football on KING TV, Seattle.
Nice to have you with us in Oakland, Sam Nover and Bob Crumpy. A big play for the Seattle Seahawks.
And knowing the versatility of the Seahawk offense, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him throw it here rather than run for the 1st down.
3rd down in less than a yard. Nope, on the ground. Jodat has it and more. As he reaches the 30-yard line, he got pushed back. But Jim Jodat with a big 1st down, stopped by Monty Jackson and Matt Millen, the rookie out of Penn State who has a couple of interceptions and is playing very well for the Oakland Raiders. He was their number 2 draft choice. So now they can go back to their wide receiving offense, and they bring McCullum right back on the field.
And that's just Seattle's 7th 1st down of the football game.
That is amazing. That return of 54 yards by Will Lewis, we are informed, is a Seattle record for a kick return. Going down was the ball carrier, number 43, Jim Jodat. Didn't Cornell Webster return a kickoff 90-some-odd yards? It seems to me he did. But I've got to believe our
Are you going to argue with Don Anderson, who is the director of PR for the Seattle Seahawks?
I would argue with nobody.
All right. Once again, you see the presence of Ted Hendricks on the defense for the Oakland Raiders. He stopped that play. He just played a heck of a football game today.
2nd down and 10. They just have not been able to get on track. It's like they have struggled and sputtered all afternoon.
Looks like the blitz, Sam. Everybody's coming here. Comes Hendricks.
They're coming his right. Zorn has it knocked out of his hand and then falls on the ball at the 35.
Cedric Hardman, 86.
Former San Francisco 49er, now in his 11th year out of North Texas State. Zorn had to know they were coming, Bob. He just couldn't react to it.
Well, he didn't step up far enough, but you'll see 86 at the bottom of your screen. He just gets his hand around and gets his hand on the football. And if there's one thing Cedric Hardman has always been able to do, it's rush the passer. The Seahawks are very, very lucky to still have the football.
So with 5:15 to go on a moving clock here in the 3rd quarter, the Seahawks still struggling, trying to get some points on the board. You get the feeling once they score, the floodgates could open up for them. But at this point, they haven't even put a crack in the wall. Here's Zorn. They're coming again. They got him. Browning way back at the 43. And they're just manhandling the front 5 of the Seattle Seahawks. Sack number 3 on the day for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, you put the offensive line of the Seahawks in a very unenviable position. Oakland knows that they have to throw the football. Those defensive linemen just pin their ears back and go. From the left-hand side of the picture, number 73, Browning. Zorn doesn't have a chance.
That's his 2nd sack, and it has to be particularly pleasing to Dave Browning, who played his ball in the Seattle area at the University of Washington. So Thunderfoot Weaver will punt to Ira Matthews back at his 10-yard line. And Herman punting very well today. This one hits at the 5, takes a Seattle bounce, and Art Kuhn kills it at the 7-yard line. So the field position is that of Seattle's, but they don't have the football. 36 yards and no return, with 4:41 to go in the 3rd quarter, in Oakland enjoying a 16-0 lead. Okay, again, let's quickly update the scores of other games going on. 3rd quarter, Houston, thanks to Earl Campbell's 55-yard touchdown run, leads Cincinnati by 10. Jaworski came back to throw his 2nd touchdown passer in the 3rd quarter. Philadelphia leads the Bears 14-0. San Francisco back on top of Tampa Bay in a seesaw affair. 2014, Detroit and Kansas City tied at 10. Here at 16-0 Oakland, the Raiders begin at their 7-yard line. Plunkett has gone all the way. Van Egan to the 10, running over people. Look at that run to the 13-yard line, ran right over John Harris and Terry Beeson. And Van Egan having another wonderful day for him.
And as I said, this is the kind of offense that Oakland has run for years, with that fullback-oriented offense behind Gene Upshaw, behind Art Shell. And Van Egan is a real load when he gets up through the line of scrimmage. I know Oakland's on offense, but Sam, did you realize that Seattle has -2 yards total offense in the second half?
That sounds like one game they played at home last year, where I think for the whole game they ended up -8 yards total offense. And Van Egan again putting his head into the pile at about the 15. He'll be a yard shy of the first down. Van Egan, of course, one of 2 great running backs that the Oakland Raiders have drafted out of Colgate, the other one being Marv Hubbard.
Yeah, I left him out. Dave Dalby hurt down on the field. Appears to have hurt his arm or his hand or something. He's up.
We've had a few people with some injuries today, but they've all returned to the action. Dalby playing in his 124th consecutive game, one of a number of Oakland Raiders whose string remains alive, the foremost of which, as you look at Dan Pastorini on the sidelines, he doesn't have a string playing in consecutive games at the moment. Gene Upshaw in his 194th straight game today. Hendricks 166. Ray Guy 110. Van Egan in his 96th. Of course, Jim Otto, the Hall of Famer, played in the most here for Oakland, 210 straight. How many straight did you play in, Bob?
3.
Good. Third down and about 1 at the 15-yard line. Make it to 16. And the give to King. He stopped and tried to forge forward.
Did not make it.
He was hit head-on by Michael Jackson, the linebacker, 55, and a great defensive play.
And you have to admire this Seattle defense all day long. They've been tested. The offense has really given them no help whatsoever, and yet they come up with a big play like that. Ray Guy in the punt. And if they can get another good return by Lewis, once again, Zorn will try to get on the field and get him in the end zone.
Well, they have exhausted the outstanding special teams plays. The offense has, that is. Lewis has given them excellent field position once and superb field position another time with his return. But Zorn and the offense unable to do anything with it. Ray Guy punting to Will Lewis.
Ten guys up, Sam. They may be going after this punt.
Here they come. The guy just got it away. McCullum almost had a block. Lewis at the 39 avoids a couple of men trying to break it outside, still on his feet, and he gets it back to the 40, and that's all, and a flag goes down.
Very late.
Lewis had wonderful balance just to stay on his feet. 45 yards on the punt by Ray Guy under extreme pressure, and 1 on the return. And as I mentioned, a flag is down. Rod Martin is the man who tackled Will Lewis along with Dwayne Osteen.
It's amazing coming into this game. I think if you see the call, personal foul, clipping, Seattle
can't get a break, can they?
If you, before this game, I think if you'd have sat down and talked with Jack Patera and said, I'll tell you what, we'll tell you that Oakland's going to score 16 points. That's it. That's all they're going to score.
You would have mortgaged your house in Seattle, wouldn't you?
I think everybody would have said, all right, we'll give them 16 points, and I'll bet we win. Not so.
I'm sure Patera is concerned, but here's Cal Lepore.
Personal foul, clipping 86 on the return of a first down.
Number 86 being Jesse Green. To continue my thought, Bob, I said Patera's concerned, but more so Jerry Rome sitting up in the press box. He's the man who calls every offensive play, and they have just not been able to execute any part of their offensive game plan. So the Oakland Raiders lead at 16-0. Seattle has the ball again. We'll be back in a moment. One of the most fun shows on television, games people play. I do not miss it on Thursday nights unless, of course, I'm on assignment somewhere.
No telling what they're going to be next. Seattle on offense now. They have -2 yards total offense in the second half, 8 yards passing.
And 2:28 left in the third quarter. Zorn starts it out the same way again, and this time he completes it to Rabel, who brings it right back to the 35 and is knocked down by Randy McClanahan, 57, and Burgess Owens, a free safety. That should be close enough for a measurement. 10 yards on the completed pass to Rabel, and Zorn lately has started out every series the same way. And I think that's the first time in this half that he's completed that little sideline pass.
Well, they now get on the plus side for total offense in the second half.
McCullum replaces Rabel, so McCullum and Largent are the outside receivers. And the running backs are Jodat 43 and Dornick 33, and they have done nothing. They have not been able to run the football today. Here's Jim Jodat trying to get outside Dornick, having his hands full with Hendricks, and a good move by Jodat to pick up a couple of yards. It's an absolute mismatch there with the Stork, even with Dornick, who's 6'3", 210. Hendricks, number 83 at 6'7", about 230 in his 12th year out of Miami. And Kinlaw and McClanahan combined to make the stop.
Well, he just stands the running back up who is about to block him with his hands, and the running back can't get a block on him. Very, very difficult guy to block. Ted Hendricks we're talking about, number 83. There's Jodat off the field. Appears he got a little hip pointer or something, and there's Ted Hendricks.
Jeff Moore replaces Jodat. Hendricks, it is hard to believe that he's an all-decade linebacker along with Jack Ham, yet Oakland picked him up as a free agent.
He's not the only one. They got Jim Plunkett as a free agent. Didn't cost him a dime.
Zorn has used a timeout here. He did not like what he saw when he came out of the huddle. It was a first down, or a second down play, a second down and 8, and he has stopped the clock with 1:11 to go in the third quarter. So Zorn has spent one of his 3 timeouts, and while he takes one, so will we. We'll be back to the Oakland Coliseum. There's a great story in itself. J.R. Richard, the outstanding pitcher of the Houston Astros, in attendance here, having undergone second major surgery a couple of weeks ago, and he is convalescing here in the Oakland-San Francisco area.
He was operated on here at the University of California Medical Center at Berkeley, too. Pitcher for the Houston Astros, hopefully again.
He was seated with Dr. Bob Albo, who performed the surgery. Here's Zorn on 2nd and 8. Pressure's on. They got him wrapped up back at the 32-yard line. It's Cedric Hardman again. Sack number 4 by the Oakland Raiders, and Zorn can do absolutely nothing with the pass rush today.
And that has been the story of this football game. You people up in Seattle that have watched the Seahawks play for the last 4 years, you know how they like to roll out, a half rollout. Well, they're keeping him there in the pocket. Therefore, they narrow down the area that they have to cover with Jim Zorn as quarterback. Cedric Hardman, his 2nd sack of the day.
He beat Lewis Bullard, but I think on Bullard's behalf, we should mention the fact that he is playing with a broken hand.
Yeah, but he has been all season. We have it at 4 sacks. Our Tyron has it at 5 sacks. That's still a lot, no matter which number it is.
3rd down and 16. And Zorn, as Bob pointed out earlier, has just not been able to convert on 3rd down. Here they come again. This one is complete to McCollum at the 40, but that'll be way shy of a 1st down. He got about 9 yards back, and a little word exchange between Mike Davis and Sam McCullum. It'll be 4th down. Monty Jackson was there.
Seattle now 0 for 10 in 3rd down conversions. Oakland has totally shut down the Seattle offense.
And they get a round of applause as the defensive unit comes off the field. Monty Jackson making the tackle, and now you'll see Herman Weaver back to punt. Ira Matthews in single safety. Weaver's done his part today. He's punted very well, and it's not been a particularly good year for Thunderfoot, who averaged about 30 yards a punt net. I think he's up over 40 gross, but the net is what really counts.
Kick minus return.
This will be the last play unless a fair catch is called of the 3rd quarter. Weaver, and a flag is down, driving Matthews all the way back to the 7-yard line, to the 15. Steps aside from a couple of tacklers and finally goes down at the 17-yard line as time expires here in the 3rd quarter. So the Oakland Raiders have really had things much their own way today. 51 yards on the punt by Weaver, 10 yards on the return. We'll hold it here while Cal Lepore tells us what this penalty flag is all about. And again, Lester Hayes indicates it's against the Seattle Seahawks. Illegal man downfield. Will they want it kicked over again or not?
I would kick it over again. Tire him out. Let him run down under the punt once more.
Yeah, now Todd Christensen, the special teams captain of the Raiders, comes back on the field. And his indication is that he'll take the ball where it lies, at the 17-yard line of Oakland.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to make him punt it again.
Well, Gene Upshaw's come over to talk to Tom Flores about it. We got people strewn all over the field, a cover shot of the field. There are people at all ends of the football field not knowing exactly what's going on. It's unbelievable. Raiders are halfway between one end. Look at this. Seattle guys don't know whether to come off the field or go back. We've got a man standing way down at the 20-yard line. Now the Raiders have come off the field.
Well, come on, gentlemen. Make up your mind here now.
Christensen keeps pointing to his left. indicating he'd like to take the ball where it is, but I don't think they're going to let him.
The best of the two choices is to make Seattle punt it again, although they've kind of lost the advantage because now Seattle's had a chance to rest.
Ineligible downfield, number 21 offense. We will have one untimed down still in this quarter.
All right, so that's it. Vic Minor, as I mentioned, illegally downfield. And they will have time for only this play because the quarter cannot end on an offensive penalty. Is that not right?
I believe you're right, Sam. Jim Zorn on the day, 10 of 21 for 125 yards. On the other side of the coin, Jim Plunkett, 13 of 22 for 169 yards and a touchdown.
Zorn has not even been able to run the ball very well today. That's an art that he has been able to master in the past. In fact, his best rushing day ever was 63 yards against the Raiders here a couple of years ago. But he just can't avoid the rush. Weaver kicking again. It already Oakland's in better position at the 20. Matthews at the 25. Breaks it up the middle. And falls forward to the 36-yard line. Stopped there by Will Lewis. And that will be the final play of the third quarter, and the Raiders have appreciably better field position.
They gain 19 yards on taking that penalty.
So at the end of three quarters, the score of the Oakland Raiders 16, the Seattle Seahawks nothing. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy were in Oakland, California. In the Astrodome in Houston, Earl Campbell, 27 carries today. He has gone over 200 yards again, 202, 2 touchdowns. Houston leads Cincinnati 20-3. They're early in the fourth quarter. Here's Oakland, back to work. First down and 10. Manu Tuiasosopo makes a stop on Van Egan after he picks up a couple of yards. And again, let me update you on other games, and there are scores in almost every other game. Kansas City, after blowing a 10-0 lead, has gone back on top with Detroit, 17-10, a 1-yard run by Steve Fuller. Tampa Bay has scored again. Doug Williams, 2-yard run. They lead San Francisco 21-20. Philadelphia 14-7 over the Bears. Roland Harper, a 1-yard run. And as I told you, Houston leads Cincinnati 20-3. That's in the fourth quarter. Here it's 16-0 Oakland. Plunkett with a second down and 6. Plenty of time to throw the ball. Looking for Cliff Branch, and it's incomplete.
Good call.
Pass interference against Dave Brown, who has played in every Seattle Seahawk game and probably is wishing he hadn't played in this one.
He put his hand on Cliff Branch's shoulder to keep him from going by, and it's going to be about a 50-yard penalty. Once again, 49-yard penalty. Great protection for Plunkett. And Cliff Branch has 9.2 speed. I'm not sure you'll be able to, great camera work following the ball, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see the hand of Dave Brown on Cliff Branch's shoulder. But nevertheless, Oakland with the ball, 1st and 10 on the Seattle 12.
I'll tell you what I can't believe is that Jim Plunkett, who was given up, as you said so aptly, for dead over in San Francisco, has come back with such tremendous life. 67% completion on his passing the last couple of ball games. 3 touchdown passes against Pittsburgh, 7 on the year. And he, I understand, even performed better than Pastorini in the preseason. Little out pattern. He's got Chandler. Yes! Touchdown, Oakland.
The effort to get in the end zone.
Well, he really wanted it, didn't he? Look at that. Backing in. He backed across the goal line.
Over Kerry Justin. And that's his second touchdown of the day. And there's Mr. Al Davis of the Oakland or Los Angeles Raiders.
He is the Oakland or Los Angeles Raiders. Chris Barr will attempt to make it 23-0. Placement, the kick is up, and it's perfect. So the Oakland Raiders appear to be back with a vengeance. They are well on their way to their 3rd consecutive victory. They lead here now 23-0, and Bob Chandler and Jim Plunkett have found new life with the Oakland Raiders. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bryant Gumbel. You are now caught up on every final of the National Football League. That's got to be a zoo for Mr. Gumbel every Sunday, I want to tell you. And all the people who have to work that shift. I'm glad we're out here in Oakland. And incidentally, while we're talking about Bryant Gumbel, there is nobody in the industry who does a better job under those circumstances. My hat goes off to him. I'll tell you, I did a couple of pregame baseball shows. The hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, and he does it like it's nothing, you know.
He is a unique talent.
He's a marvelous talent. Chicago has come back to tie Philadelphia. Vince Evans, a 3-yard run, so down 14-0. The Bears and Eagles are tied at 14-all. And all of a sudden, it's a very important football game for Philadelphia after their big win over Dallas last Sunday. Here we go. Al Hunter and Jeff Moore, the setbacks. And the quarterback remains Jim Zorn. The 14:01 to go, and Sawyer in motion. 23-0 Oakland. Zorn off the fingertips of Monty Jackson. He looked like the intended receiver.
Largent's caught one pass on the day for 18 yards, and he has been totally shut down by Monty Jackson. But more importantly, I think the picture of the game, Jim Zorn has been just flushed out of the pocket, bothered all day long by a great pass rush by the Oakland Raiders. Sam, interesting. Seattle's only been shut out twice until today in their short career, in 77 versus New England and last year versus the Los Angeles Rams.
On 2nd down and 10, they'll go with 4 down linemen, the Oakland Raiders. They bring in Willie Jones and Cedric Hardman and 5 defensive backs. The Seahawks counter with 3 wide receivers. Sprinting to his left, Jim Zorn throws back against the grain, and it's caught by Steve Largent at about the 28 or 29-yard line. It depends on where they spot it. He'll be shy of the first down. 9 yards on the catch, and Zorn, the only way he can escape the pressure is to sprint almost to the sideline.
And you see the defensive coverage there. Total zone. Largent at the top of the screen comes back for the ball. Johnson slips. He's right behind him, though. There to make the tackle. I'm sure Al Davis is glad to see Monty have a good game. They gave up an awful lot for him. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. That's not Lawrence Welk. That's what they gave.
Trade, I know.
Right. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. 3rd down in a little bit.
John Sawyer and Mark Bell, 2 tight ends, and Ron Essig in the slot. And now they get to Al Hunter trying to streak outside. He doesn't make it. Randy McClanahan, number 57, and Monty Jackson, 42, just strung the play out to the far sideline, and in fact Hunter may have lost a yard or 2.
And the Seahawks have not converted 0 for 11 in 3rd downs today.
There are so many things that have happened in this game that if you had told me 2 hours ago they were going to happen, I would have mortgaged my wife and children on it.
Really?
Yes.
I'd say that's a pretty heavy bet.
Against it happening.
Yes. Well, they're going for it on 4th and a yard and a half.
Largent, Rabel, and McCullum, the wide receivers. 4th down and a very long yard. Zorn will throw for it. He has a man, and it's caught by McCullum, trying to get up and run with the ball at the 38. And they'll spot that he was down there, but Zorn got the first down, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first 3rd down conversion of the day for the Seattle Seahawks. They are now 1 for 12.
Although it was a 4th down conversion, and that's Sam McCullum's 4th catch of the day.
You're right. 10 yards on the play. My heart goes out to Zorn. I know he's got to be playing, and I don't want to make any excuses for him, but he's got to be playing with a lot of back pain. And now he's probably got a migraine headache with a score 23-0.
Well, I think, too, this Seattle Seahawks team relies so much on a great game by Jim Zorn. He just hasn't had it today.
Here's a man over the middle, Largent. Breaks a tackle. Needs 1 block. 35, 30's on his way. Lester Hayes from behind, and they bring him down at the 13. It'll be first down, the biggest play of the day for the Seattle Seahawks. Jim Zorn to Steve Largent had covered 52 yards. And the Seahawks, with 11 and a half minutes to play, are trying to get on the board for the first time.
Just a simple square in, and the minute we spoke badly of Mr. Zorn, he comes through to his favorite receiver, 1,200 yards last year for Largent. And a good job of getting down the field after this catch. Gives a little juke there, and then it's a foot race. He's got surprising speed. I didn't realize he was that fast. Lester Hayes and Burgess Owens saved the touchdown.
He's got balls for a lot of yardage, I'll tell you that. 1979, 1,238 yards, the most in the NFL since Warren Wells in 69. Here's McCullum, a great effort, and a flag is down. That'll be interference against Monty Jackson. The ball will come out to the 1-yard line. Sam McCullum, the intended receiver. It'll be 1st and goal for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just afraid, Bob, they've started a wee bit too late.
Yeah, but they've been waiting for a play like this to ignite them all day long. It's a delay by McCullum. Largent was also out there, and for the first time, you don't see Oakland Raiders draped all over Jim Zorn. I don't understand what the call was there. I see no contact between the receiver and the defensive back. That is I think, a phantom pass interference. 42, Monty Jackson on the coverage, and well, anyway, first and goal for
Lawrence
the Seahawks.
McCutcheon making his first appearance for the Seattle Seahawks. In the backfield with Dan Dornick. McCutcheon wears number 30, and he gets the call, and he gets the touchdown. So Lawrence McCutcheon, who was traded by the LA Rams to Denver. Now we got a fight going on in the end zone. Ron Essig, number 64. And I don't know who he's messing with. It may be the stork Ted Hendricks. I think it is number 83. Well, I'm sure Hendricks has frustrated a lot of Seattle Seahawks today. But McCutcheon, who was cut by Denver, was picked up as a free agent by Seattle. In his first carry, scores the touchdown.
1 carry, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. That's a pretty good percentage. This is a straight dive play. Dornick with a good block up front. And McCutcheon just drives it into the end zone.
There it is. Oh, Essig hit Hendricks. You could just see it off the corner of your screen after McCutcheon got into the end zone, and I'm sure Ted did not like it. Efren Herrera trying to make it 23-7. Placement by Zorn. The kick is up, and it is good. And so with 10:52 to go, could they? Is it possible?
I would expect an onside kick coming back here. They're not going to give up, Sam.
We'll be back in just a moment. The big play, of course, was a long pass from Zorn to Largent. 80 yards in 6 plays, and Seattle's on the board. Here's the kickoff. He's a master at it. There's the onside kick, and Oakland has it at the 46-yard line. And Derek Jensen is the man who recovered the ball. It popped out for a moment, Bob, but he quickly covered it up.
He looked like George Brett playing third base for the Kansas City Royals. A little late on the throw, but he kept it in front of him. Didn't allow it to get to the fences. Watch this stop by Jensen. If you can see it, it happens in a hurry. Oakland ball, 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line of the Seattle Seahawks, leading 23-7.
So the Kenny King and Derek Jensen are the running backs. I mean, it's just got to be 3 downs, and they got to get the ball back. They trail 23-7. Here's Plunkett, who's had another great afternoon. And the give to King, busting through a hole, taking a couple of tacklers to the 38-yard line. Harris and Simpson are the men who made the stop on him. San Francisco got a field goal from Ray Wersching, and late in the 4th quarter, the 49ers have forged back in front again. That has really been a seesaw battle.
8 yards on the carry, and when in doubt, Oakland goes over their trusty duo of Gene Upshaw and Art Shell.
Lions have come back to score again. They're tied at Kansas City's Arrowhead, 17 all. There'll be some Oakland and Seattle fans rooting for Detroit. Kansas City could get back in the AFC West in a hurry with a win. And King gets the first down as he crawls to about the 33-yard line, and Michael Jackson made the stop. And I'm just wondering, Bob, whether or not the heart of the Seattle defense has been taken out here.
Well, they've been on the field for an awful long time today.
Houston with a field goal by Tony Fritsch, and they've got a lapper over Cincinnati after winning a very close game earlier in the year at Riverfront Stadium.
And Campbell has now gained over 400 yards in the last 2 football games the Oilers have played. You think Dave Casper helps that offense down there, Sam?
I would think so. But they paid a lot to get him. 9:30 to go in the game. Plunkett with all day. Throws it over the middle. Clock. Jensen to the 25. And he's about a yard shy of the first down as they throw him back. But a good catch by Derek Jensen around his shoe tops.
Gee, Sam, Oakland's rubbing it in here. Leading 23-7, 9:17 left. 1st and 10, and they throw the football for about 9 yards and maybe 34 inches.
I think they probably have been dealt some frustration over the years in losing 4 straight to Seattle, and I think they've accused Seattle at times in the past of perhaps rubbing in their victories. And so the Raiders do not forget. Football teams do not have what you call bad memories, do they?
Especially head coaches.
Yeah.
Or owners of franchises. First down Oakland, they do it by the pass. That'll make somebody a little upset in Seattle.
From the 23-yard line of Seattle, Oakland already leading 23-7, looking for more. Well, Jack Patera said earlier in the week that Oakland is playing the best football in the NFL over the last few weeks, and he sure is right, isn't he? Plunkett looking in the end zone. Oh! Chandler, what a remarkable catch!
Look at the smile on his face.
There is no other word to describe the catch by Bobby Chandler than remarkable. He tipped it around and caught it going down.
Look at the smile on his face. And in the first half, he was out with bruised ribs or something. Took a little rest. His third touchdown reception of the day. And he gets it on his left hand. You'll see the pattern.
Fred Biletnikoff is alive and well in Oakland again.
Watch this catch. Watch his left hand go up. He stops the flight of the football. Catches it by the point. Balances it for a minute. Are you sure that man's not part seal? How'd he do that?
His third touchdown catch of the day, the 41st in his career. And you think that every time he catches one, Chuck Knox in Buffalo doesn't cringe a bit? The extra point by Barr is up and good. And so the fate of the Seattle Seahawks would appear to have been sealed on that one. A 23-yard touchdown pass, the third of the game, from Jim Plunkett to Bob Chandler. It's a 30-7 game. Oakland trying to go to 5-3 on the year. 45 yards in 4 plays. It took a little over 2 minutes, 2:01 to be exact. 23 yards on the pass to Bob Chandler, his third touchdown catch of the game. And here's Jesse Green, 3 yards deep in the end zone. He will not come out with it. Seattle will go to work from its own 20-yard line. And the Seahawks are going to have to regroup a little bit after this one.
For the game, Sam. For the game, the Seattle Seahawks have gained 20 yards total rushing the football. 0 yards in the second half. Jim Zorn, 13 of 25, 192 yards. 1 interception, no touchdowns, and of that 192 yards, 54 of it was in one play to Steve Largent.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't scrap the whole offense. This club has been good enough to go 9-7, 9-7. They knocked Oakland out of a playoff spot last year on the final Sunday of the season. They are an excellent football team. They're 4-3, which is the best start in the history of the franchise. 4-3 at this point. And so they'll be 500 after 8 games, but certainly not out of the race, especially if San Diego loses tonight. John Sawyer for about 4 yards. Wrestled down there by Big John Matuzak, 72.
Sam, all of what you say is true, but I am sure that the people that run the Seattle franchise and head coach Jack Patera are realizing that this is for second place in the AFC West. They expected a lot more out of their team today.
And I think that's true. From the 24-yard line, Zorn throws it back. The screen is to Dornick. He's got blockers. 25-30. And out of bounds shy of the 35, but they get a Seattle first down and they stop the clock. Run out by Mike Davis.
What's so funny?
Our producer, Roy Hammerman, comes up with these great... He said he runs like a doorknob.
Jack Patera's not laughing.
No, there's nothing funny back in Seattle. Larry Brinson is into the lineup, number 36, and he and Dornick are in the backfield. I bet Hammerman stays awake all night thinking of clever little things to say when the opportunity presents itself. He had a great one on Jodat. I just didn't have the heart to use it earlier in the game. 3 wide receivers, first down. Zorn back to pass again. Better protection, throws it, and he overthrew his intended receiver, Steve Rabel, who is coming across the middle. Bob, I wonder if that sun, which covers about 1/4 of the field on the far side, really affects a receiver who's running out of the shade into the sunshine.
Yeah, it has an effect on the receiver, but Jim Zorn overthrew him. It has nothing to do really with the shadow on the field.
So the clock stops again with 8:07. We got plenty of time left in this football game. Unfortunately for Seattle, they're down 30-7.
Plenty of time for what, Sam?
They'll need 4 scores to get back in it.
Yes, they will. Now, how do they do that?
I don't know.
All right.
Second down and 10. The ball spotted at the Seattle 34. And Zorn throwing on every down. Rolling left, trying to get somebody downfield. He's got a man wide open. It'll be a touchdown. The pass to Largent, and Seattle has a quick touchdown. 67 yards. Jim Zorn to Steve Largent. He almost ran out of gas.
I told you this game wasn't over, Sam. All they got to do is throw it a long way down the field to Steve Largent and get in the end zone.
Wow.
Incredible performance by those two guys. Over the last 4 years, they've done an awful good job of hooking up on things like this. Watch him motion Largent down the field. full trajectory. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. A 54-yard reception for the biggest play of the game, and now that one.
And they beat the nickelback Wayne Osteen, the former Los Angeles Ram out of San Jose State. Well, Largent hasn't given up, and neither has Zorn. And it's quite apparent a few other Seattle Seahawks still think they have a chance. Just under 8 minutes to play as Herrera puts it up and good.
Offsides Oakland. I'm sure they'll take the extra point.
Cal Lepore, the referee number 5, in the middle of that huddle with Derek Ramsey. And here's the official announcement.
The point is good. Offside, defense, the penalty enforced on the kickoff.
Still have great eyes, Mr. Crumpy.
It's pretty easy to see a 6'7", 225-pound Ted Hendricks jump off sides.
We'll be back to the Oakland Coliseum in just a moment. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Oakland. As I just heard somebody say a moment ago in the broadcast booth, if Seattle can score in 56 seconds, at that rate they can score 7 more touchdowns.
Uh-oh, look at this, look at this. Onside kick.
Herrera, everybody shifting to the left side, and Herrera floats it in the middle. Lester Hayes has it, falls down into 35, and I don't think that's what Efron wanted to do with the ball. He was looking for the seam, but I think he got it a wee bit too far downfield. And Lester Hayes had plenty of time to cover up on the football, and Herrera goes back to the sideline dejectedly as Oakland has the ball and the lead 30-14.
I don't think Jack Patera is happy with that effort either by Efron Herrera. He's talking to the young man. What else do they have to do, though?
You know, before today, Bob, he was successful in 7 of 11 onside kicks. That is a remarkable percentage.
He is a very gifted athlete. He's thrown a pass. He's caught a pass. He's run from there. He's done just about everything.
Both he and Herman Weaver were original draft choices of the Detroit Lions. Whittington trying to get outside at the 37-yard line. Stopped there by Terry Beeson, 58, and John Harris, 43. Keith Butler, I think, had a chance to throw Whittington for a loss. Now Oakland goes to work on the clock. 7.5 minutes to go in the game. They have a big lead, but they don't want to give it back to them too early.
And Seattle will begin trying to tackle the football. They'll come up with the football any way they possibly can.
Gain of 2 by Whittington, 2nd down and 8. And it would be a surprise to see Plunkett put the football up at all before 3rd down.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He doesn't want to stop the clock on an incompleted pass, Bob. Here's Van Egan for a couple of yards, and a flag is down. The clock stopped with 7:03 to go.
Sam, you consider the time, though, and Oakland has been able to throw the ball holding Oakland on a running play. Oakland's been able to throw the ball all day long. Why stop now?
Holding, 63, offense, penalties decline, 3rd down.
So they forsake the 10-yard penalty to try to keep the down box moving. Here's our update on scores again. Houston continues to blow out Cincinnati in the Astrodome. That's 4th quarter. San Francisco clinging to a 2-point lead just across the bay. Kansas City back on top of Detroit, 2017.
Well, that's a team that's certainly come on of late, has it not?
They have played very, very well. And a win today puts them at 500. They'll be tied with the loser of this game. Here's Plunkett on 3rd down. The rush is on. Jacob Green missed him. Now Plunkett. Green came back to get him at the 32-yard line. And the clock will stop on the sack. And with just under 7 minutes to go, Seattle gets it back, and you can hear the buzz go through this crowd, Bob.
I believe that's the first sack of the day for the Seattle Seahawks, too. Green has the initial pressure on the outside on Henry Lawrence, and he kind of flushes him out of the pocket. And all of the receivers downfield are looking upfield. No one around, and Green comes back with a right cross to the chest, and quarterbacks are smart. They get on the ground in a hurry.
So Will Lewis will try to get Seattle in good field position for Zorn and Largent again. Ray Guy standing at his 20-yard line, and this man could, of course, kick it through a wall.
I would imagine, too, they try to block this punt to get the ball down in Oakland's territory as far as they possibly can. Sam McCullum got one last week.
And Guy got it away, and he had to hurry it, and what a great punt it is. What a fabulous punt. Lewis back, fumbles the ball at the 10, falls on it at the 13-yard line.
team.
He heard footsteps. He tried to pick it up and then heard the pursuit. Morris Bradshaw downed him at the 12-yard line. A punt of 54 yards, so Guy still has it in him. The first ever first-round draft choice of a punter in the National Football League, Ray Guy.
54 yards on the punt, and also about an hour and a half on the hang time.
Here it is again. Lewis backing up, fumbles the ball. He'll peek up. Look at. He looks up and sees Bradshaw and wisely falls on it. Here's our first final from a late game. Nick Lowry's field goal of 40 yards with a minute 14 to play has given Kansas City a 20-17 win over Detroit. Though the Chiefs are back to 500 at 4-4, the Lions have lost 3 straight. At the 12-yard line, Zorn goes to work. Good protection over the middle. Drop. In and out of the hands of Dan Dorning.
They have pressured Jim Zorn all day long. Cedric Hardman, Willie Jones, Matusak, Browning, Pear, Reggie Kinlaw. They have just really upset the timing of the entire Seattle offense. And even though Jim Zorn has got a lot of yards, 273 yards to be exact, more than 100 of that have come in 2 passes to Steve Largent.
So his statistics, you are saying, I think in short, will look good at the end of the day, despite the fact they came at the wrong time.
Well, there were also either 4 or 5 sacks on the day for Oakland, and that's really been the story of the game.
Second down and 10 at the Seattle 12. Hendricks fakes the blitz. Zorn throws it out in the flat. Dornick trying to get running room. 15. Spun around, falls forward to the 21-yard line. And he'll come up about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards shy of the first down. And the clock continues to run. We're under 6 minutes to go. A gain of 9. It'll be third down and a very long one now for Seattle in their hurry-up offense. Rod Martin made the stop, along with Lester Hayes. Hendricks, the outside linebacker, is lined up on the inside. Zorn will throw it on third down. And he fires it. It's intercepted. Lester Hayes' second interception of the day, his 6th of the year. And that should just about do it.
Total domination of the Oakland defense and the Seattle offense. They've restricted the rollout that Seattle's been so successful with for the last 3 or 4 years. And Zorn, I don't think, saw Hayes at all. Largent was standing there, but Hayes came out of nowhere. Look at Matusak. Believe me, when you get, look at there. When you get a defensive lineman in your face most of the day, you know when they're about to be there, and it's just disrupted him enough for those interceptions and a lack of real offense.
And on that graphic you saw, Lester Hayes has both of them. This is a young man who led all the cornerbacks in the National Football League with 7 interceptions last year. And he is just an outstanding prospect. And along with Monty Jackson, they are solid at the corner. Here's Whittington with a hole to the 20, the 18. He stopped there by Simpson and Hardy, 42 and 75 respectively. Got to give Seattle credit, Bob. They certainly did not quit in this game. And had Zorn been able to get one more up on the board, a 30-21 game, and had he been able to do it fast enough, we might have had some finish.
Any points they might have scored in the first half, I think, would have helped the team immeasurably.
Right, absolutely.
And because the defense, as you said, has done a great job, and this is a team that really has not had a lot of defense.
Gain of 5, second down and 5. Both Branch and Chandler come to the near side. Defense, it seems, has been on the field for an eternity for Seattle. And Plunkett on the give to Van Egan. First down and more to about the 11. Harris and Beeson are there. And Michael Jackson, number 55. And they get to recycle the down box again. 7 yards on the carry. And the clock continues to move inexorably toward the end with 4.5 minutes to play.
Sam, you mentioned how much the Seattle defense had been on the field. We'll ask our statistician to find out for us before the game is over how many plays Oakland has run in this football game. Find out exactly how long Seattle has been on the field defensively.
Ted, would you find out exactly how long Seattle has been on the field defensively? Thank you.
In plays. He's doing it.
First down at the 11-yard line. Van Egan trying to get outside. He started up the middle and then cut it out and reached about the 8.5 where Butler and Harris met him head on and pushed him back. But Oakland is very content here just to work on the clock the points not being important. They lead by 16, requiring 3 Seattle scores, and we're now under 4 minutes to play. And the entire field now is in shadows. A little light is leaking through the light standards here. The lights are turned on. Second down and 8. Whittington diving to the 5. I don't remember having called Bill Gregory's number much today, Bob. Do you? 77?
No, not really. Jacob Green has tried, but they have just been pushed to the limit, this Seattle defense, all day long.
I think the reason we haven't talked about Gregory is number 78 of the Oakland Raiders.
And he's at least 2 tackles in 1 uniform.
Art Shell, perennial All-Pro, now in his 13th year out of Maryland Eastern Shore. He is just phenomenal, and he continues to play to the same caliber. He and Upshaw on the left side.
He is listed at 6'5", 280. He is in excess of 280.
Game trying to get outside. No, sir, not this time. Out of bounds, stopping the clock. Kerry Justin was there, as was Michael Jackson. Jackson, a very active linebacker. He's going to be a good one. And so these guys have not quit, and they stop the clock at 2:47 to go. It's 4th down and 7. And on the field comes Chris Barr to attempt his 5th field goal of the day. He's made 3 out of 4. And this will be nothing but a chip shot. See where the placement and the spot will come from as you look at Tom Flores and Jim Plunkett on the sideline. This will be, Bob, no more than a 26-yard field goal attempt. Chandler will spot the ball, let's say right at the 15. Make it a 25-yard attempt by Barr. His 4th of the day if good. The placement, kick is up, and it's perfect. 25-yard field goal by Chris Barr. A flag is down, however. A penalty marker is down. Barr indicates it's against Seattle. Do they want to take the points off the board?
All of a sudden, we've been
Offside, 55 defense. Penalties declined. We have a field goal.
all of a sudden, Sam, we've also been invaded by about 3,000 seagulls. I wonder if they paid to get in here. That's
Al Davis cued the Seagulls for the victory celebration. There you see him flying above the Oakland Coliseum. I'll tell you what I like most about that shot. Can we go back up there again, Director Dick Klein? I'll tell you what's great. You folks watching in parts of the country where there may not be blue skies, it is perfectly blue here in Oakland, California. And that is the pleasure of coming out here to do a game.
a fantastic day for everybody but Seattle in the Bay Area.
So with 2:44 to go, Oakland has a seemingly insurmountable 33-14 lead. The Raiders will go to 5-3 on the year. Seattle 4-4. And if San Diego should lose at Dallas tonight, Oakland will be in a first-place tie with the Chargers. And wouldn't that be lovely for Oakland Raider fans? They have earned it in recent weeks, I'll tell you that. They've gone out and done it. Nobody else has helped them. Oh, Green got blasted. Jesse Green got knocked down by Derek Jensen, number 31, an 18-yard return. As I started to say, Bob, Oakland hasn't relied on anybody else. They went out and beat San Diego. They went out and beat Pittsburgh, and they've done a number on Seattle today.
We talk so much about the Seahawks defense. Only 10 more plays. That's rather incredible. I thought there'd be a lot more plays run by Oakland as opposed to Seattle, but
the figures don't lie.
No, they do not.
So here's Zorn one more time from his 21-yard line. They have put 14 points on the board here in the fourth quarter, but it obviously came much too late. Larry Brinson in the backfield. He throws it over the middle, almost intercepted. Number 53, Rod Martin had the ball in and out of his hands, and the rush came right up the middle from Dave Browning, who's had 2 sacks on the day in an outstanding football game. Dave must know that some friends and family back in Washington would be watching.
Yeah, well, they have been all over Jim Zorn. The offensive coaches of Seattle got to go back to the drawing board. Well, there's a difference. 8 minutes difference in time of possession on the Raiders' side, and 19 points up in the score.
It doesn't get any easier for Seattle next week. They go home to the Kingdome, where they haven't won in 3 appearances, to host the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Seattle has the third toughest schedule. Fumbled by Zorn. The scramble is on, and Seattle's got it. Seattle has the third most difficult schedule in 1980, Bob. Their opponents played to a percentage of .553 in 1979. That is the third most difficult schedule.
Yeah, and don't they have 11 opponents who were in the playoffs last year?
Well, something like that. I don't know if that many.
Well, I tell you what else makes it bad is that Oakland has so dominated the Seahawks offense this week that Philadelphia watches the films of this game for next week, and they may do the same thing. Rush their defensive ends wide, try to bottle up Steve Zorn as best Jim Zorn as best they possibly can. There's no telling what this is going to do to the Seahawks.
So we've reached the 2-minute warning here at the Oakland Coliseum. It is all but over. 33-14. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Seahawks football on KING-TV, Seattle.
Jim Zorn on first down. Rolling left. Pressure's on. Back at the 5-yard line, and down he goes. The sack is number 6 of the day for the Oakland Raiders. He loses 12 yards, and here's the final from across the bay. Garo Yepremian has kicked a 30-yard field goal with 47 seconds to play. Tampa Bay 24, San Francisco 23. And Willie Young is down. That could be a blow to Oakland. He's just been a great pass rusher for them. Also, with about 2 minutes to play in Chicago, Tony Franklin has kicked an 18-yard field goal, and Philadelphia leads Chicago 17-14.
You mean Willie Jones, don't you?
What did I say?
Willie Young?
I meant Willie Jones. Thank you.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, Seattle is going to punt it here.
It is 4th down and a quarter of a mile, and Herman Weaver is on to kick it. And a frustrated Jim Zorn looks on, but he'll be back. You can count on that. Just a brilliant young quarterback and a great kid to boot, Bob.
He is also a young man who is very proud of his record as a quarterback. That's the backup quarterback. Sam Atkins there trying to, I suppose, be a shoulder for Zorn to cry on. He is very proud, and he knows how much his team and teammates rely on him. And to repeat that he has a bad back, and there's no telling what it did to him.
He went into this game having the second lowest percentage of interceptions, about just a hair over 3, meaning for every 100 passes he throws, he's only intercepted 3 times. And oddly enough, and it probably should have been an indication to us the problem he was having, he has been intercepted 3 times today. Ira Matthews standing back at the 50-yard line, awaiting his punt by Herman Weaver.
You know, you mentioned about Zorn's interception record. In the last 2 weeks, he had thrown the ball 56 times without an interception. And it all comes apart today in Oakland. Very inopportune time for him to have an off day, or for his offensive line not to really protect him. And that's where it starts. The offensive line protects Jim Zorn, gives him a chance to roll out. They can play with anybody. When they restrict the offense, and I suppose you should give credit to the Oakland Raiders, when you restrict the offense, that's a real advantage for Oakland, and they come up 33-14 victory.
Herman Weaver on the end line of the end zone, trying to get this one away, and he just did. And another great punt by Thunderfoot, driving Matthews back to the 45. He fumbles the ball, picks it up, has plenty of time, but goes down right on the spot. Before we leave the subject of Zorn, there is an old axiomatic expression in the NFL that quarterbacks get too much credit when they win and take too much heat when they lose, and I think this is a classic example. Do you not agree, Bob?
I agree. It's the failure of the offensive line in the first 2 quarters of this football game to adequately protect Jim Zorn that set the tone for the rest of the football game.
Another 50-yard punt by Weaver. And so Oakland will try to just run the clock out with 1:43 to play and a 33-14 lead. Chandler comes out, no sense risking injury to him. And I'm surprised to see Plunkett is still in there. But he is, you would think that maybe Flores would give their #1 draft choice, Mark Wilson, a little action here in the final 2 minutes, but apparently not.
For whatever reason.
Tackle made by Keith Simpson, number 42. The Raiders next week will host the Miami Dolphins. And they'd like to keep their winning ways intact. Their streak now extended to 3 games, and the prospect of moving into a first-place tie should San Diego lose tonight in the AFC West. However, if that happens, Kansas City and Seattle would still just be a game behind along with Denver.
I would imagine, too, if you're an Oakland fan or an Oakland team member and you're giving away game balls, you'd give one to Ted Hendricks for the defense and one to Bob Chandler for the offense with his 3 touchdowns.
Derek Jensen, the ball carrier, and we're now under 50 seconds to go. And so Jack Patero will take this ball club up the Pacific Coast here to Seattle and try to regroup for the Philadelphia Eagles who come into the Kingdome. I would think if there's something optimistic to look for as a Seattle fan, it's that while their 4-game winning streak on the road was finally broken, they can look forward to breaking their 3-game losing streak at home against Philadelphia next Sunday.
Yeah, that is a faint possibility. I suppose if you're looking for things that are on the positive side, that's it.
Some of the Oakland players are already walking off the field, namely the defense. Rod Martin, Hendricks, they've come down the tunnel way below us because the game is history. They will not snap it again. And the Oakland Raiders have pulled off a very, very impressive 33-14 win over Seattle before a crowd in excess of 50,000 here in Oakland. And you wouldn't think that this team was going anywhere, would you?
And they also break a 2-year losing streak against the Seahawks, which is psychologically very, very important for the Oakland Raiders and Mr. Al Davis.
Okay, for Bob Trumpy, this is Sam Nover bidding you goodbye from the Oakland Coliseum and reminding you once again our final score, the Oakland Raiders 33, the Seattle Seahawks 14. We'll be back in just a moment with our Budweiser NFL report after these messages from your local stations.